Okay, here we are again. I checked the audio on yesterday's stream and it actually sounded a little louder than I would have liked on the game audio side, so I adjusted that today. So I think we should be good audio-wise from now on. It was just there were certain points where it was like if I was talking less loud than my maximum, like, normal range of volume, the game might like slightly overpower me, and usually I don't like having that happen. Usually I like having it me being like the spoken word above the game, you know what I mean, so that it doesn't get volume wise, it doesn't get confused. Might have to move the table, it might be too far away. No, it's not. Never mind. Yes, it is. Hold on. Just ever so slightly. Okay. There we go. And actually, I probably would have been here even a little earlier than I was today. Because I was actually on track. Like, I got my sauce cooked before it was done by 6:45, so I could actually eat dinner at 6:45. Everything was all done. I did all my actual cooking yesterday. So I posted the notification on Discord for the stream. And then I go down to get some water from the water pitcher downstairs. The dog. So I shaved today, right? And the dog has this like fascination with me when I shave my face, because then my face gets all prickly. And so she spent like a solid 2 minutes. I'm just sitting there patting her, and she spent like a solid 2 minutes just licking my face. I guess she's cleaning her tongue, but I mean, I guess I get it, because like I have the little thing on the back of my toothbrush that lets you clean your tongue, and that does feel good, but like just 2 whole minutes, just, oh, your face is so prickly. Like, oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm late, because the dog required my love and affection, and there is very little that I can do about that, because she is a dog. Once she asks for something, it's kind of all or nothing. Anyway, we have a couple of things to go do. I recognize that I probably just could have used the sight spell last time to see exactly where I needed to go next, because I would have probably looked at the map and been like, oh, you know, the Gulgan Gulch is like just northwest of Castle Argus, and that's also where you get the Toad spell, which is where you need to go before you get to go to the Tower of Owen. But, you know, it's okay. I would have figured it out eventually if I didn't figure it out soon. But I did figure it out off-screen, so there we go. How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. We are at level 13 at the moment. Last time we excuse me, did a little bit of faffing around at the end, because I just really need to get Angus back to the 5400s somewhere. We did a little faffing around at the end just because we spent a bunch of money and didn't have the money to buy any other stuff. But today, I think we should be good, because we still have Desch with us. We have a couple more staves that we're actually going to be able to go and find not too long from now, so then Refia can equip those. And also, I'm going to go back to calling him Desch. I understand that it's probably Desch or something like that, but like the Polish part of my brain is being suppressed by the Italian part of my brain. It won't let me say it without me taking psychic damage to both halves of my brain. So I'm just gonna go back to saying Desch. And in my defense, and I know this is silly of me to create a defense case for something like this, but in my defense, many other names in the game thus far have been names where the emphasis is on the first syllable, right? So Lunith, Erk, Refia, Ingus, Ingus. And then, so like a lot of the other names, not necessarily all of them. I mean, we have Selena, and her, the emphasis on her name is on the Li part, obviously. But for the main characters specifically, it seems like the emphasis is on the first syllable. So if you do Desch, then the ch ends up having the emphasis, and it just doesn't mesh with the rest of the... Sorry. I'm arguing stupid things over something so silly, but yeah. So I'm just going to go back to saying Desch just because it's what I said growing up. It's what I'm comfortable with. I apologize to anyone that bothers. Yeah, I just cast Fire. Why not? And then I think if I remember correctly, Lunith can take care of these guys on his own. So let him advance the one. While Refia and Ingus take care of the other one. What, is that all you got? I'll take that, thank you. Actually stealing decently well today. That's not bad. I don't know if, oh, okay, I guess Refia and Ingus can take care of them themselves. I don't know if your chance... Ooh, wow. Okay, that's a relatively uncommon drop. I'll take it. It's a Zeus's Wrath, so that'll cast Thundara when used as an item in battle. We're going to want to have a few of those available to us eventually, but we don't really need them just yet. It is good, though, because these 4 Antarctic Winds and this 1 Arctic Wind are going to be saved for a very specific boss, so it's good that I have, like, Zeus's Wrath and Bomb Fragments rather than having to use these, because these I'm really going to need for something else, so... And then by the time it gets, like, okay, so there's a couple of bosses coming up where those will be useful. By the time I get to the point where they'll be useful again and I'll be wanting to have them again, there's actually easier ways to get them, and it mostly requires Eric to get his job level to 31 or higher. So by the time we need them again, we should have his job level at the point where he can steal them successfully, and we've actually already run into several enemies at this point who, from whom we can steal Bomb Fragments, Zeus's Wraths, Antarctic Winds. Well, maybe not so much Zeus's Wrath, but... Yeah, actually, there have been a couple where we've been able to steal Zeus's Wrath. Let's see, hang on. So, Lunith can take care of the ones. Actually, Refia, I'm going to need your help with this one. I don't remember if you can do it yourself, but whatever. Okay, so you guys can, in fact, just do it yourselves. Lunith, it looks like you're not going to get to do a whole lot of physical attacking for right now. But that's okay. You'll have plenty of time to work on your sword arm later. Literally. Although it's not really a sword arm right now, it's more of a bow arm. But same difference. But yeah, so I guess I can talk a little bit about it in terms of the steals, right? Because for right now, the steal command isn't really doing a whole lot for us. It's basically just stealing potions, high potions. We might occasionally get an eye drop or something like that, but the idea behind steal is that if your job level goes up enough, you can start to steal some more premium equipment. So, like, as an example, this enemy here on the high seas will have, thanks Desch, will have Antarctic Winds in slot 2 to steal. So basically each enemy has 4 slots with an item in it. And the higher your job level, the more of those slots your thief has access to when they steal something. So, like, right now, since Eric's job level is only 11, he only has access to slot 1. But once he gets above level 30, job level 30, I should say, he'll have access to slot 1 and slot 2. And oftentimes with a lot of enemies, their slot 2 and their slot 3 are the same, so he'll have access to some uncommon equipment just from that. The other thing to think about is the fact that there are some enemies where their slot 2 and slot 3 are different. So, like, as an example, let's see, how do I do this? Refia. So, like, Ingus can take care of the one by himself. Let me go back to Lunith's turn, hold on. Okay, so we'll have Refia attack the one up top with a fire spell, and then Ingus can take care of this one down here with just the light staff, so... Well, that wasn't very nice. But yeah, so like right now, Eric has access to slot 1, so he'll mostly just steal potions We might get a high potion occasionally, might get an eye drop occasionally, but mostly potions. Once we get access to slot 2, he can start stealing some items like Zeus's Wraths, Antarctic Winds, and bomb fragments from enemies. As an example, the Griffins that we've been fighting, they have bomb fragments as their slot 2 steal. Basically every enemy on the sea that we're encountering has an Antarctic Wind that we can steal. And then the knockers that we've been fighting down near the Village of the Ancients, they have Zeus's Wrath to steal. So, yeah, quite a few different steals that we can get access to. It's just we need to get the job level up, and then that's about it. So, you guys are weak to Blizzard, and then I guess let's play Sona. Because why not? Hey, Chris, how you doing? Welcome. Am here and totally sleeped a lot. Sorry you kind of ditched last night. No, that's okay. Sleep is more important than this, quite honestly. Like, I would rather you get enough sleep than stay here and be tired the next day. So, I completely get it. Trust me when I tell you, I would have dipped as well if I was sleepy. So, no problem. But welcome. We are making our way up to the Gulgan Gulch, which is northwest of Castle Argus, but I'm probably going to stop into Castle Argus real quick because I can use it as a free healing spot. You know what, I'll do that after we go to the Gulch. How about that? Because I don't think the Gulch has any healing spots, but the castle does, so we can at the very least do something with that. Let's see. I guess we'll steal from the Lizard Man. I don't think Lunith can take out this Gorgon himself. So we'll let Refia, actually I think Blizzard's more effective, we'll let Refia go after that one. And then you just do this. Although, you know, Angus could go first with the Fire Staff and Refia could just Blizzard that thing to death and then whole battle's over. But that would be fine. Like I said, I'm not really super concerned about Lunith getting practicing with his bow. First of all, because our arrows are limited, but second of all, because he'll have time to do that later anyway, so. Let's see. Speaking of which, how many arrows do I have left? Oh, 55. Okay, so I've got quite a few. That's good. And you've still got a Mithril Shield, right? Okay, got it. I checked my notes, because I have a couple of things that are in my notes that are kind of important for later, and oh, this isn't the place I'm supposed to be going, I don't think. Well, that's okay. A little extra EXP is not going to kill us going towards where we need to go. But, yeah, so I checked my notes, and I have a couple of, like, do this because it's important type of things at the top of my notes. One of them is buy arrows for later, and I did, in fact, do that. The second one that I have in there is keep the Mithril Shield and the Gauntlets. Now, we don't have the Gauntlets yet, but we will get Gauntlets later. But there is a reason why I need to keep Mithril Shield and Gauntlets because, well, they'll be useful for a class that we'll be getting access to right before our options are a little more limited. I won't elaborate on that until we actually get to the point where our options are limited, but just know that we'll be a little more limited in certain situations. So, you deep cleaned one of your PCs today? The fans are super icky, but it's all shiny now. Taking a break. Nice. It's always good to do that every now and then just to make sure everything gets cleaned out. I probably need to airbrush my my laptop at some point, like just kind of take the air, the canned air, and just around some of the fans a little bit, because I did that a couple of months ago, but I haven't done it since. This is another Chocobo Woods. Okay. Yes, I can imagine it would smell like Chocobo around here, considering there's, well, Chocobos here. There is something you can do with that prompt in the middle of the woods where it says, it smells like Chocobo here. But we don't have access to that just yet, so... Wait, hold on. Back up a sec. Did I miss the Gulch? Am I stupid? Hold on. Oh, I did miss the Gulch. It's in fact right down here. I looked at this little gap and I was like, that's not something I can fit through. But that's not true now, is it? Okay, so the Gulch is right here. You have a grocery list for Final Fantasy? What a gamer! I think that's a grocery list. You should see what my list looks like in Final Fantasy 12. Good lord, man. So much loot that I have to make sure I get in order to get all of the correct stuff. So, hang on a second. Can I... That's the debug menu. We don't want that. Control mapping. Here we go. Just want to check something real quick. Pad 1 B11. The hell is B11? Maybe it's like R3 or something. So like... Oh, okay. Alright, well, I found the speed up button at the very least. I'm looking for the select button because I could swear you could, like, switch the formation of your party without having to go into the menu to do it. But, either way. I just want to check and make sure there's nothing new Mognet-wise. Although I suppose it doesn't matter too much because, like, we don't really need Mognet to have letters until later. I don't know if that makes sense. Kind of like the side quest that's associated with the stuff doesn't need to, it won't unlock until we get the next crystal to begin with, so, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that might help us a little bit. Maybe we can figure out where we need to go. Okay, that makes sense. Now, how do I find those? Oh, better watch out for that one. That might happen sooner rather than later. The void, huh? See, I was always under the assumption that the void was kind of this formless substance, not specifically involved with light or dark, but apparently in this case it's affiliated with dark. So. Button 11, ABXY, up, down, left, right, trigger, 1, 2, 1, 2, 12 buttons. Yep, so it's probably one of the triggers on the back then that does the select button, but apparently it's... Like, what I'm looking for basically is the auto battle button, because if I remember correctly, you can press the auto battle button and it'll, like, have you do the same command over and over again. It's not really a big deal if I can't find it, but whatever, you know. Oh, yeah, I could see how that would be problematic. The island of the dwarves, huh? Maybe the fire crystal's over there since you sense the power of fire. I guess that's to just keep themselves safe, but... Oh, so you must be the guy that wrote the, whatchamacallit, the text crawl at the beginning of the NES version of Final Fantasy III. Because that looked very similar. All those hours of programming DS games paid off. Yeah, there you go. Gotta use that knowledge somewhere, right? Oh, Well, I did visit the Living Woods, so... The man who changes destinies, huh? I wonder if we know that guy. Oh, okay. Thank you. So in order to get into the Tower of Owen, at least past the first floor, you have to use the spell Toad. So it's kind of like how you have to enter the Nepto temple with Minnie. Same sort of idea. Desch, are you an engineer or a machinist or something, and you just didn't tell us? You seem to be using a katana rather than a gun. Anyway, Toad is the last level 2 white magic spell, so just make sure you have enough white magic to cast 2 Toad spells, or you have enough Maiden's Kisses from the Village of the Ancients to, you know, do that again. Use 4 of them to, like, not be toaded anymore. But here's another Fire Staff, and here's another Ice Staff, so we can just give those to Refia now, and she'll have, and another Mage Robe, which means I probably shouldn't have bought 2, but we can give those to Refia, and now she has access to these. The only thing we're missing, basically, is, like, another light staff so that we can, you know, have them both access it if they need to, but that's okay. The A button is 0x16, if you recall. Yeah, probably. So, 0x16. I'm thinking about what I know about hex code, and I know very little, mind you. But 0x16 would be associated with, let's see, that's 6 numbers away. So that'd be, what, 21 or 22, something like that. A binary value that contains all the button states. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would, I should try to figure all that stuff out. Maybe I'll try to, maybe I'll try to do it right now while I'm thinking about it. Hold on. Let's just press a button and see what happens. Everybody press all the buttons! We haven't played that game yet, but, you know. Doesn't hurt to make that reference. All right, so X is button 2. That's this one. That's button 3. That's button 1. Button 4. Start is button 14. You know, it could be touchpad too. Hold on. Because that's button 10. Let's see here. Yeah, touchpad was start. Okay. So that means probably capture was button 11. Okay. I see. So I know L and R. Pause is button 13. Okay, I'll press some buttons later and figure out what all that is, but now at the very least I know that there's an option there. Oh, okay. I guess you can pull up a world map since I have the sight spell. I didn't know that. That's a new one to me. That was me pressing the start button, so. Like 0x32 and 0x16 for A and B are both being pressed. 0011, 0000. I know. Nerd! No, it's not nerdy to me. I'm glad that you know that, because quite honestly, it's probably helping me figure out what the heck I'm doing right now. But yeah, so now we're all set and ready to go to the Tower of Owen, basically, at this point. We just, let me think about this. How are we doing level-wise? We'll probably level up a couple of times in the tower. It might be worth it to level up before we go to the tower, since I have Castle Argus right here as a full heal. Because then I'd have to, like, you know, heal myself, and that would take up MP. The next boss is challenging, so I'm trying to make sure I'm prepared for it, because I'd like to, if possible, get done with a few things today. I'd like to get the next area, so basically the Tower of Owen done, and then the entire island of the dwarves done, if possible. I don't know if it's possible, but if it's possible, I'd like to try. So, oh, you know, I don't even have to cast Blizzard with you anymore. I have access to all 3 of the basic elemental spells on all of this stuff, so let's just do this. Maybe I didn't need all that MP. It doesn't really matter, though, because all that MP comes with a class that happens to have a ton of intelligence to begin with, so. Man, looks like Lunith is still hitting for some damage. So. Looks like about 3 more battles and Ingus will be level 14. So at that point, we go into the castle, we get a full heal, and then we head for the tower. I don't think there's any tents in this game, unfortunately, or cottages, unlike Final Fantasy II. Those would be nice, but I don't think we have such luck, unfortunately. Okay, Ice Staff for you, and Ice Staff for you, because I'm lazy and don't feel like switching to one of the other ones. Actually, Ice would work on all 3 of these guys pretty good. The Knocker is not, and the Gorgon are not particularly weak to them, but the Fire, I think, is. But yeah, this is probably the battle where you can get the most experience and gold for right now, out of all of the ones available to you. There might be a couple, like, on the eastern, like, edges of the floating continent where you could get more, but probably, I mean, it'd probably be a little tricky to get there, at least for right now, while we don't have an airship to take us over there, you know. But because we got so much experience from that one, we might actually only have like 1 more battle left, and then Ingus will get there. Let's see, 118. Yeah, we should get there from another 2 enemy battle. So that's good. Ideally, we want to be at least level 17 before we fight the boss that happens right before the fire crystal, because if we're not level 17, that boss can be really challenging. Although, quite honestly, we have all the resources we need in our, like, items slots, and from, you know, the items that we have just to fight that guy on pretty equal footing. It's just a matter of having enough HP to survive his attacks, that's all. So. It's weird, I feel like I'm almost playing Final Fantasy VI for how often I just am like, okay, well, you just steal. That's all I need you to do in this battle, because our DPS with everybody else will take care of the rest. Believe it or not, that's actually pretty common in this game. Especially later, once I hatch my master plan. Which I cannot hatch until we get to the fire crystal. then things will begin to take shape. But the reason why I want to get that done by the end of the day today is because if I can get to the fire crystal today, we can get the next set of jobs. And the thing about switching to a new job after having the old job is that you like lose a little bit of your damage because you have a lower job level. But there is a way to fix that by... I guess there's no really other way around it. It's basically grinding for job levels, but it will serve multiple purposes, this grinding, and I won't have to do it very much. Let me think about how many times I'd have to do it total. I think 11 times over the course of the game, so we're splitting it up pretty evenly, and it should be pretty, well, maybe more than 11, depending on when I get the water crystal jobs as well, because water crystal's the third crystal, so. They left the fire and water crystals as the first two crystals, or the second and third crystals like they did in Final Fantasy 1. And then they said, okay, let's just switch the order of the earth crystal and the wind crystal for this one. It may also be worth mentioning that keyboards use a similar method. Multiple keys are tied to a single switch, and by comparing multiple layers of switches, the key is found with a simpler circuit. It's why patches of keys fail at the same time. Yeah, oh, crystals! Something like that. We haven't seen a crystal in a little while since the first stream, which admittedly wasn't that long ago, but it feels like forever because it's been since a week ago. But yeah, and you know, that actually makes sense because like if your keyboard is having difficulty, it's usually not just one key, right? It's like multiple keys that are all kind of attached to the same switch on the inside there. That's interesting stuff. All right, now my recommendation... Oh, actually, I should show this first before we do that. My recommendation before you go in the tower is to save, but as you can see here, there's a whirlpool going on at this point in the peninsula, and unfortunately, you can't get the ship out of here. The whirlpool just kind of blocks you from getting there, and more unfortunately than that, it's not like in Final Fantasy II, where you sail into the whirlpool, you end up in Leviathan's stomach, and you get a new party member. In this case, it's just blocking you. Anything new to say, Desch? Now that we know that your destiny awaits, why are my items there? That was weird. Wonder if that has to do with any of the keys that I set up. Hold on. Because square is on button 2. I think we only mess with start and select, right? Maybe I'll just do this and do that for now. Or maybe it was just a glitch. But anyway, this is the scene. We couldn't see it because my items were there. But yeah, I mean, maybe, but he says his destiny's there, so we gotta go with him just to make sure he's good. Okay, so now I think before you go into the tower, absolutely, positively, save your game, because the tower is long. Well, maybe not that long. It's mostly linear corridors inside because it's a tower. They can only do so much with the architecture, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing is the boss at the end of this is difficult. You don't have to fight it while minied, so it's not the same type of difficulty as the giant rat. It's more just it hits like a freight train and might be a little problematic. It's interesting that we have level 4 spell charges now, actually. I would have actually preferred like a third charge of level 3 instead of a level 4, but you do get access to level 4 magic soon, just not that soon, you know, so. Could you imagine 2 plus-minus wires for each key all going to the USB? I feel like that would overheat the computer very, very quickly, or just like, you know, it would be too much for it to process, and it would take more power for it to process that. Some old game controllers are like that. Yikes, yeah, where they like... oh, yeah, with all the wires and everything for each key. Yeah, I can imagine that being problematic, yeah. Good lord. Frog, huh? Froggy, where are you? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Ah, more good music. Whoa. Some kind of weird gremlin creature is attacking me. Fardarig. That's probably, like, Gaelic and I just mispronounced it like a crazy person. That's okay, though. I wonder if they're weak to being burned to the ground. Yeah, that's scary. Accurate. Yeah, there you go. I've heard that one more often than I probably... Well, you know, and honestly, considering how often I've played Sonic Adventure through, like replayed it over the years, I actually haven't played it since I played it for... Yeah, I haven't played Sonic Adventure 1 since I played it for the channel, and that was back in 2012, but apparently it's still sticking with me, so... Yeah, Froggy! Is that you? Nope, goblins. It's just another name for goblin. Anyway, there's no treasure on this floor, so all we're looking for is this little section. Apparently there's a hole in the floor that'll take us to our next destination. Sorry, Refia, I don't think we have much of a choice. So, yeah, basically we have to... Kind of like the mini dungeon, we have to have Ingus turn us into toads in order to get into this section. Now, when you're toaded like this, you can't cast any spells other than toad, and you have significantly reduced stats. It's kind of almost similar to being minied, except, well, you're a toad, so... Nice model clip with that armor, literally unplayable. Oh boy. 1 out of 10 video game model clipping in 2011, I never. But yeah, just make sure you have enough to cast 2 toad spells. Thankfully, there's no, like, cure spells at level 2, because that would be problematic with Mini and Toad being somewhat prevalent in the early game. Not so prevalent later, but in the early game, important to have a little bit of extra MP for it. Oh, and by the way, I should say this as well, since we got this from the Village of the Ancients. If it gets rough in here, don't be afraid to use teleport to get out of the dungeon, because you can literally just get out of the dungeon, go back to Castle Argus, get a full heal, and then come back. And then you've got all of the experience that you had from the tower, and you can use that experience to help make it easier to get through the tower the second time. Now, I'm going to try to clear it in one go, but if it gets to the point where it's getting bad, I will just teleport out. So, because, I mean, what else am I going to use that level 3 magic charge on? Cura? I mean, that's usually it's reserved for boss fights, you know? Uh-oh. Somebody's got access to the loudspeaker. Someone evil. Let's see if Desch has anything new to say while we're in here. What, does the machinery look familiar or something? Do you need me to hit you on the head or something? No, that would probably only make it worse. Teleport spells are slept on too often in games. Yeah, because they are really useful, honestly. Like, all that extra experience that you get from fighting battles here doesn't go to waste, because then you can take it with you. Like, think about if I wiped in this tower, you know, then all the experience is gone, for one, and then I have to redo the tower with the same resources. That's no good. More of you guys, huh? Alright, well. I seem to recall the Fire Staff being able to KO you guys in one hit, so let's just do that. There we go. Nice and easy. I'm still looking at HP values, and I'm thinking about the classes that I want to change everybody into eventually, and I think Ingus's reign of having the highest HP is going to come to an end eventually here. Like, I'm just thinking about the vitality on the class that I want him to have, and the vitality that is on the class that I'm going to change Eric into eventually. And it's like night and day. They're going to switch places, basically. Refia will probably... Let me think about this. Refia and Lunith will probably be about the same as where they are. They'll be pretty close to each other for the whole game, but Eric is eventually just going to take over in the HP department, and Ingus will probably be the lowest, actually. The class that I want him to use is... It's good. It's probably the best caster in the game, given, you know, other things. What is that laugh? Like, am I dealing with more goblins? And they've got their, like, voices high-pitched or something? Did a farterig get a hold of the loudspeaker or something? What the hell? Anyway, that's the stairs. Let's go here. Dingus, more like Dingus. Ooh, got him! Dingus. Petite mage. Rapid heating and cooling. Let's try rapid heating and cooling. But yeah, the other Sentret-looking guy that's in the Nepto Temple was just a regular petite, so... And what kind of noodle-nosed vampire laugh? That's about right. I guess we'll find out, won't we? Wow, that did 300 damage. Holy hell, Refia. Some kind of powerful. Yeah, we're getting some pretty good experience from the enemies here, so... Probably level up again before the end of the area. And that's fine. Another Spark Dagger, if you want to give that to your thief. They can dual wield now and then blast things that are weak to lightning. I'm not really worried about Eric actually damaging things. Augiski? Man, the enemy names in this game are a little... They don't exactly roll off the tongue, do they? I think these look like enemies that are weak to fire, so let's use fire. Or they'll resist fire because they're orange. I don't know. I didn't bother looking up enemy weaknesses for right now because it's not particularly important for a little while. It will eventually be, but at the moment, not really. So. Caco Demon at home, yeah, just about, honestly. I gotta look that one up. Caco Demon looks familiar, but... look it up. My phone's right here. Might as well use it for something. Caco Demon. Oh, the one from Doom, that's what, okay. I knew what you were talking about, I just didn't know they were called Caco Demon, yeah. Goes to show how much Doom I've played. But I have heard of the word Caco Demon before, I just think I needed a gentle reminder, because I saw that one video where it's like the last Caco Demon, and he's got it in his hand, and like the world is saved, and everything is peaceful, and then he's petting the Caco Demon. I remember seeing that video. So, anything up here? No? Anything I can zoom in on? No. Okay. It's just a weird-looking wall. It looks suspicious, but... Well, I am walking towards a dead end, so I mean, it probably looks that way to you. I could have sworn there is one actual place where you need to, like, press a button or something. Yeah, it is here. Okay, I wasn't crazy. It's just this wall. And that'll move that wall. Perfect. You forgot literally every other Doom enemy's name. It's just Caco Demon. That makes sense. That's the one that lives rent-free in your head, huh? There you go. I don't remember if there's any enemies in here that are... Because you can come back to the tower after you're done here, so I don't think anything in here is missable, so I wouldn't worry about it if you, like, don't have all the enemies. There is one enemy that's only available on the first floor, though, called Fury, if I remember correctly. Oh, Silence, huh? Oh, I found out something about status effects in this game and why they kind of suck. So, their accuracy is... They have a base accuracy, usually it's between 30 and 40%, and then their accuracy after that is affected by your job level. So they really suck, for the most part, because your job level is too low. You need to be good at your job in order for the status effects to work effectively, which usually makes them mostly useless for the entire game, because you just won't ever have a job level high enough, or you will, but you know, only near the end game where most things are immune to all of those status effects to begin with. So, yeah, that doesn't really work all that well. More echo herbs. I'll take them. Didn't get silenced, but they would have been timely if I did. Excuse me. Caco Demon equals shaped like cocoa bean. That is the most fiery cocoa bean I have ever seen. You know, I don't think I mentioned it before with these farterigs. I love their little overalls. It's so goofy. Reminds me of, oh, what's that guy called from Ni no Kuni? Just the Might line, really. I don't remember, like, all of the mights. I think it's, like, the first one is Might, the second one's Mighty Might, I think, and then there's, like, Dynamite and something else. Mermite, I think that's it. It just kind of reminds me of that, you know? Yeah, they're grease imps, so they've got the overalls because they're mechanically oriented imps that can actually work on the machinery here. Something like that. But yeah, it's like the mechanics overalls type of a dealing. I should mention that the tower is long, but you'll know when you get to the top because the floors will stop being like this and they'll start being like a straight line. It's like, oh, okay, that's the top. I guess just poke the Augiski in the face because why not? I don't think you'll get a chance to, but, you know. Let's try the Ice Staff on them. I don't think these enemies are weak to anything in particular, but you never know. Well, it's probably better then that I actually had Lunith attack this time, because that guy should go down. Yep. And then we can poke the Augiski in the eyeballs. Nice. Everybody got a turn. It's all good. Oh, and I guess I should talk about, there is actually a formula. I looked up the, not the damage formula, but the formula for how job levels are gained. So you need to earn a total of 100 job points, quote unquote, for you to gain a job level with each of the classes. Each action that you take in battle, it doesn't matter which action it is, gives you a certain number of job points depending on your job level. Once you get above job level 14, it gives you a variable amount depending on what class you're in, usually between 10 and 18 job points per action. But when you're below job level 14, every single action gives you 20. So if you take 5 actions, you'll gain a job level. That's below level 14. The most you'll ever need in order to get a job level is 13 actions in order to get a level. But that's like one of the classes that you wouldn't really use unless you're level 80 or something. It's like it's the joke class that turns into the super class at the very end of the game. That trope is what it is. So, what time period is this? I'm guessing see, the thing about Final Fantasy is that it doesn't really have a specific time period. Certain things are kind of smushed together. Like, most of the way you could have been like, well, this is medieval times, but now we've got all these gears and this machinery that looks like, you know, more Renaissance era clock tower type of a dealing. So I guess Renaissance era would be the latest it would be, but then there's other machinery that looks more modern than that, so I don't know. Yeah, Swords and Magic says medieval, gears say Victorian, Grandpa's fishing gear says yesterday. That's Final Fantasy for you. They kind of smush a bunch of stuff together and it ends up working out pretty okay. So. But yeah, see how we're still kind of going around in circles to get to where we need to go? We should be pretty close though, because usually they do these multiple bridges when you're closer to the exit. Okay, there's the stairs. Isn't there a robot at one point? I'm trying to think if there's a robot in this game. There are actually more than one robot in Final Fantasy 1. Ow. Do you guys have access to Blizzara? That's no good. Well, that's fine. I guess I can take care of things from here. Yeah, there are several robots in Final Fantasy 1, so although they didn't use robots again until at the very latest 6, there might be. I'm trying to think if there's a robot in 5. I know there's like machinery in 5, but I don't know if there's a robot. 4? I don't think 4 has any robots either. So yeah, they definitely used robotics in 1. And then sort of laid off of it after that, you know. Remember something about some Detonator super boss? Yeah, that's the War Mech from Final Fantasy 1. I think he's called actually the War Machine in the PSP version, if I remember correctly, or something like that. But yeah, that's in Final Fantasy 1 when you're on the way to the Wind Crystal, which is the last crystal that you go get in that one. You can run amok of the War Mech, and he kicks your ass quite handily. I'm not going to heal yet because Inga still needs a level, so we'll wait for him. We'll go from there. Ah, Sonic Knuckles. I think you're missing an ampersand in there, guys, but anyway. But yeah, the War Mech is really difficult to defeat. I forget if we found it in my playthrough of Final Fantasy 1. It's been so long since I played it, I barely remember. But, yeah, he can really kick your butt if you're not careful. And he comes in right at the end of the dungeon, too, which is kind of problematic, but... I'm trying to think, though, if I remember correctly, in Final Fantasy 1, maybe not in the NES version, but at the very least in the PSP version that we played, you can save anywhere, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Because, like, you think about this game, you can't save anywhere you want. You can only save on the world map, so... yeah. Yes, Final Fantasy 3 and Knuckles, that's what we're getting at here, yeah. Okay, there's Ingus's level, so now we can heal. And go from there. And Refia needs a little more. That's fine. I have 13 more charges, and I still have all my curas, so that should be good. Okay, not quite there yet, but... I'm thinking one of these is going to have an invisible wall somewhere. I just don't remember which one. Another one, I should say. Because we already had the one. Hang on, there's, I think, a treasure here. Yeah. Ah, a Salaman sword. Nice. A lot of the elemental swords, they're more useful for red mages than they are for warriors because they're fire elemental, but I think you can also use the Salaman sword as an item to cast the fire spell for free, which Lunith won't really do too much with because his intellect isn't really that high, but like a red mage would because they've got all that extra intellect from just being a red mage. Eric, you can't equip the flame mail, can you? Excuse me. No, you can't. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but it'll work. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my knuckles. Like that stupid meme version. Yeah, I think I remember that one. Is that the one where they just replaced, like, a bunch of stuff with... They replace a bunch of stuff with just the word Knuckles because there's just a bunch of Knuckles in the thumbnail, I think. If I'm remembering that correctly. Laugh, love, holy mistype. I knew what you meant. Alright, Pat, get the heck out of here. And then, let me see. Is that where we came in? Right there? Just looking, hang on. I need to go back. I'm not really hurting for resources right now, so I don't think it's a huge deal if I go back and look. And that's probably a silly thing to do because we were literally just there like 20, 30 seconds ago, but, you know, nobody said I was paying attention. I'm hard as Knuckles, it ain't hard to Knuckles. Born on an island in the Knuckles. Like, I can just hear the bit crushing they probably had to do to get that to sound like that, you know? Alright, I think everybody's above job level 14 now, so we should be needing about... I think for all of these classes, it's 14 points per action now, which would put us at about 7 actions in order to gain a job level. I mean, that's a little bit more than we were doing. Yeah, that is where we came in. Okay, cool. So I was like, this tower is supposed to be linear. What's this all about? But, yeah. So about 7 actions will gain us a job level from here on out, but like I said, I'm not really super concerned about that because the grinding, quote-unquote, that we'll be thinking about later, once we get our fire crystal jobs, will take care of that, that need for us to get job levels. It'll also take care of one other thing, but we'll talk about that when we get there. I already mentioned that, but, you know, might as well mention it again. Why not? But, you know, we're flexing pretty hard on the tower. We've got everything pretty well handled, but don't let it go to your head. Like I said, this boss can be a little tricky, and as a matter of fact, the boss is probably right up here because, like I said, everything went straight line on me now. Score Esther. Okay, I've got enough potions because Eric keeps stealing them, so I might as well just use them. I should probably go back and get some high potions at some point as well, but, you know, we'll figure that out later. Okay, let's see. Anything in particular I want to do here? Yeah, the squirrel clown Pokemon. Something like that. I think we should be pretty good, honestly. We'll probably have Eric doing the healing, well, helping with healing again, because we've got all these extra potions. I've only got the one high potion, but we'll have him help out with healing, I think. It might be worth it to give Lunith a Bacchus's Cider, actually, because that'll not only make him go faster, but also it'll make him do more hits. So, and I think Bacchus's Cider, it has a fixed use when it's like an item, but the haste spell can be better than the Bacchus's Cider depending on the job level of the caster. But I don't know. I guess we can find out later. So, Nintendo wouldn't be brave enough for Team Honk a bunch of clowns. Oh boy. They'd be like, nope, we can't do that. Kids hate clowns. They would be too scared to buy our video game. They did have a couple of, what were they, jesters? Or were they just clown trainer classes in Gen 5? But that was about all I remember from that, so. Okay, ready, Desch? Time to meet your destiny. Or Deschini? Something like that. Ah, so you're the one that gained access to the loudspeaker. Medusa. Here's another name, by the way, where the emphasis is on the first syllable. Zand. Could probably say Zandy, but that just makes him sound like Randy. And who names their final boss Randy? What is this, Mystic Quest? I don't even think Mystic Quest went that silly. And I think I found the person with the weird laugh. It probably has something to do with the fact that her nose is all messed up. Well, maybe it's not that messed up. She seems to have lost her body, though. I would say don't lose your head, but this seems to be an entirely different problem. Alright, let's see if we can steal from her. She has high potions that we can steal from her, but, you know. And then just pelt her with the strongest spells that we have, so probably Thundara would be the best thing that we can do here. And then I'm just going to group cast Cure, like, the whole time. She's not... I don't think she can be toaded. You can use Toad, unlike Minnie. You can actually use Toad as a status effect in this one, from what I understand, but... yeah, it's probably not something that we can do much with for now, so... Oh, I've been silenced. Those electric worms sure like the lava. Hey, there's the high potion. Oh, she is ugly! Wicked Witch of the West kind of deal going on here. She looks like a crab. Here's this giant enemy crab. What I'll do is attack its weak point for massive damage. And actually, Refia did massive damage with that Thundara last turn. That was 550 damage. I'll take that. That's really good. I'm probably going to want to have Eric actually start throwing out potions pretty soon, but for now, the damage is somewhat manageable. Once she starts casting spells, it'll be a different story, but, you know, that might take a little while. Nice crit, Eric, for 20 damage. I'm sorry. I know, I'm being mean to Eric, and that's not fair to him. It's just his job for right now, and because I want to keep him in the back row, that's making him do less damage than he could. So, nice. So between Lunith and Refia, we've done like 1,300 damage already. That's not bad at all. I'll take it. Do I Zeus's Wrath you now with Eric? Or do I? No, I think I use bomb fragments, actually. Eric doesn't have much intelligence at the moment in terms of, like, being able to cast really high-level spells, but he should still deal pretty good damage, so. And then let's do, we're using the bomb fragments, let's do Ice Staff, and then, yeah, I'm just gonna keep you casting Cure on all targets. That should work pretty good. Desch can add some damage here and there. It'll work out pretty good. But she has access to the level 2 spells, black magic spells as well. I should say level 3, but I keep thinking of like Fire, Blazara, Thundara. They're level 2 spells, quote unquote, to me, but she has access to them. So definitely be careful of that, because eventually she'll start casting them, and they can hurt. He's not very intelligent. I'm sorry, I'm still being mean to Eric. I need to stop. The poor boy doesn't deserve this. Okay, good. That can petrify you if it hits, but, well, you know, she's silenced the 2 people where it doesn't really matter if they get silenced, so I'm kind of okay with that. I said I was going to Bacchus Cider Lunith. Am I still going to do that? You can't really get Bacchus Cider in a lot of places, so maybe I'll hold on to it. Bomb Fragments I'm not worried about getting, though. You can get a ton of those. And actually, funnily enough, you can get the upgrade to Bomb Fragments in a short period of time from now, actually. Not too long from now. So, alright, Light Staff a go-go, keep curing. Watch me go first and cure a full HP, just about full HP party, and then she'll blast everybody with Blazara or something. Don't you know the saying, dear? Silent, but deadly. It's too bad I can't use the Bad Breath skill, because that also looks like silent but deadly. Bad Breath is in this game, even though there are no Malboros to be speaking of, but... Okay, well that's a little bit of a problem, but... Actually, not really, to be honest, because you can still cast spells with items, even if you're silenced, so I'm not even... Like, look, I can still do it just by doing that, so I'm not even really worried about it. Now, if Ingus gets silenced, well, that's a little bit more of a problem, but we can heal that off. Oh, nice. You know what, Eric? Everything I said, I take it back. You got the finishing move. Good work, kid. With a 25 damage dagger to the face. That went swimmingly. That boss usually is not that easy, but hey, I'll take it. I mean, we did blast it with, like, Blazara and Thundara and all that stuff, so... Yeah, Desch, you might want to put on, like, your welder's hat first before you go messing with that lava. Oh. All it took was fighting Medusa, huh? And almost getting petrified. Oh, okay. So yeah, so you know how the Village of the Ancients is, like, the people that are there are descendants of the Ancients? Desch is, like, the OG. He's an actual Ancient, so... I mean, I guess it's in danger. Well, maybe not in danger now. It depends on how much Medusa was messing around with it, but, you know. Yeah, the fire will blow up and... Oh. Oh, I know what's about to happen. So, can you repair it from out here, preferably? Oh. Well, that wouldn't be good. You have to go inside the lava reef in order to stabilize the tower? That seems like a structural issue. I can't imagine that being very practical. And also, you're 100% going to die if you go in there. But I guess that's why they're playing the sad music, huh? All good, Desch. Thanks for sticking with us despite your memory being a little spotty. I think he knows that, Lineth. It is your destiny. I made that joke already. But yeah, as the Gulgan said, the power of fire is on the Dwarven Island. We could not get there before this because the whirlpool was preventing us from getting there, but... Well... Desch is about to fix that for us. With his life! Ow. Wow, I guess the explosion flung us all the way back to our ship. That's a pretty strong explosion. This was parked over by Castle Argus. Oh, okay. Holy crap, he actually jumped in. Yes, he did. After Final Fantasy II killed off, like, half of its main cast, they said, you know what? We don't mind having people die in these games. And they sort of just kept going with it. Just a little bit, yeah. Sounds like a plan. Let's get over there, everybody. Yeah, that is an on-screen suicide. Wow. Well, and I mean, it was for a cause in this case. It wasn't like he took his own life for no reason. He took his own life to repair the tower. It's just we didn't see the repair part, obviously. But yeah, these games don't shy away from that little bit of graphical imagery, I guess. Although I do see that since we got to level 15, we got a third charge on our level 3 spells, so that's kind of nice. I think we're doing pretty good, all things considered. Do I want to go back to the Village of the Ancients now? I think I can just get there, can't I, if I just sail around. But once you go outside of the peninsula here, so the inner sea there has a different encounter table than the outer sea. So there will be new enemies for us to encounter here. Excuse me. If you go east, you can actually get to a village that might be somewhat useful to you, but I don't think I need to go there just yet. We can go there later. So, a sea serpent, huh? I can probably handle that guy. Watch him absolutely annihilate me now. Look, no offense, but what happens when it breaks again? I think we're all SOL when it breaks again. Guess we better get to work on those forces of darkness so they don't decide to come back and break it again. Yeah, okay, well, that was anticlimactic. That guy has the same, model as the Nepto Dragon would have if we had tried to go out to sea and fought that guy, but that one's a little bit easier than the Nepto Dragon, so. Alright, well, let's park the ship right here. Since I deleted my start button, let's cast Sight so I can look at the world map real quick. See if I can get around to the Village of the Ancients from here. Oh yeah, if I just sailed west from here, we can get to the village itself, so that's not bad. So. Maybe just turn the frickin' thing off. It's not like it keeps the sun on or something. So I think it's a little... It's kind of hard to explain, but the way that the Tower of Owen works is it's a pillar. It's almost like a support beam, and so the floating continent is floating, but the Tower of Owen is the pillar that it is floating around. If it unstabilizes, the whole continent will fall, and if it falls too far, that's too far away from it'll fall down to the world below, and that'll be farther away from the sun, which will cause a disastrous amount of climate damage to the environment here on the floating continent. Probably most wildlife and most human life would have a much harder time surviving. So that's the idea behind it. I don't think they really talked about why that is, but yeah, that's how that's supposed to work anyway. I think the ancients might have talked a little bit about it, but I don't think they really explained exactly how that works, but that's how that works. So you know, actually, I will say before we go inside of here, because there is, in fact, a dungeon in both of these caves, so... nope, wrong one. Right? Right, yeah, this one. Okay. Okay, we're about an hour in, and we've got 2 dungeons to go before we get to the Fire Crystal and the next set of jobs, but I don't think that'll be too hard to do, honestly. Lolly-ho! The dwarves all say lolly-ho. Wait, this takes place on alternate universe Zeal in the sky. Yeah, so the continent that we're on, they talked about it in the Village of the Ancients, but the continent that we're on is floating. It's like floating in the sky, and like I said, the Tower of Owen is the pillar around which the floating continent floats. So, we don't know what the world below looks like yet. What's the big trouble? I guess I'll have to find out. Thank you. It feels bizarre not having Desch following around behind me. He's been with us for so long, and by that I mean like 3 hours. So. Okay, yeah, that's a nasty one. Okay, so here we go. Now Sid has something to say, and Elder Topapa has something to say too. Okay, good. At least we have that. So let's read the new mail. The Children of Ur. Recently, the children have started to play farther and farther away from Ur. While I praise their adventurous spirits, I worry that it will lead them to trouble. From Topapa. I hope they don't end up trying to play in the altar cave, because there are monsters in there. Oh good, the first letter Sid sends to me is how he met Mrs. Sid. The first time I met Mrs. Sid, she was a passenger on my airship. It was love at first flight. Get it? He really just wrote on his letter to me, didn't he? That sounds exactly like Sid. From Sid. Anyway. That's goofy. You know, I guess I could go back and tell the kids about the monsters we've met so far, so. What do you mean the last horn? I need more context. Oh, apparently there's a guy named Gutsko the Rogue, and he took one of the dwarven horns. That's not good. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I can help you guys find it. Yeah, the dwarves should have some new equipment for us at the very least. So, ice armor, ice helm, ice shield. So the thing about the ice armor, so we have flame mail already, which gives us resistance to ice. Ice armor, ice helm, and ice shield will give us access or resistance to fire. So, and it's not a bad idea to grab an ice shield either. Which, as a matter of fact, I might even give it to Eric because he really doesn't need to be attacking like at all. I mean, I do want to keep the mithril shield; it'll be useful for something, but you know. Let's see. He can equip the ice armor. That's good. I should probably grab him that at the very least. And then he can also equip an ice helm. You know, let's just get him those. I'll just, and an ice shield. I'll just get him one of each. How about that? Because the flame mail is good enough for Luneth. I can just get him an ice helm. So let's give one ice armor, 2 ice helms, and then 1 ice shield. And we'll hold on to the mithril shield for later. I don't think there's any weapons in particular that we need to get, but, maybe I can restock on iron arrows at some point. We'll see. Let's see. Ice shield for you. Ice helm. Ice armor. Yeah, like I said, thieves can equip some pretty heavy armor in this game. It's kind of surprising. Shisha continent from 2 miles up. That would result in an equivalent energy of a few very big atomic warheads. Depending on the full scale, it could straight up shift the planet, if not slow it down. Yeah, so that's probably part of the problem that Desch was trying to solve then. It's like, yeah, no, I don't think that's going to work out if you guys end up down there, so let's not do that. It will not work out like with Angel Island in Sonic Adventure 1, where it just sort of falls and then everything is fine. It will not be like that. Oh, good, iron arrows, I can restock. Okay. There we go. You can also buy holy arrows from here, so I'm going to buy 31 of those so we can get up to 50 of those, because we'll need those in not the next 2 dungeons, but in the dungeons after that we will. So. Let's see here. Don't need the extra spark dagger. I don't know what the 2161 is going on there for, but cool. I won't need this either. No, I won't need this either, so we'll get rid of that. Light staff I want to keep. We'll sell these, keep those, keep all of those. I'll keep the books as well. Won't need a Sonic Knuckles, though. We can get rid of that. Keep the mithril shield. Don't need the mithril helm. Don't need the shell helm. Don't need the extra mage robe. Right? No, I won't need the extra mage robe. Okay, cool. Keep the scholar robe, though. That could be useful for something. Flame mail. Yeah, I'm going to keep that just in case as well. And we got the iron arrows there. Those crazy buggers just left that on with little to no supervision. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess the ancients, like, yeah, I ought to throttle them. I guess the ancients didn't really think about, like, the repercussions of leaving something so insanely powerful on all the time, huh? Then again, the ancients, I get the impression that the ancients were kind of, like, either the direct descendants of the people who abused the light and tilted the balance of light and darkness towards light rather than darkness way back in the day, or, like I said, either they're direct descendants or specifically the ones that did that, so I don't know if they really had a thought about that, you know. Ah, yeah, that's the village that I was talking about that you go to, Gisal, which is just like Gisal Greens, which means it's probably a village that knows a lot about chocobos. We'll go there eventually, just not yet. There's nothing really over there that we need for right now, unless we, like... Yeah, you know what? I'll rest. Why not? Unless we were to go there to grab an item that we could... There's an item in that village that we can sell for a very pretty penny, but it's also kind of rare to find. But then again, at the same time, you also can't find that, or rather can't find the job that can even use that item until after you get the Earth Crystal, so... And at that point, there's only a few dungeons left. Not that that's saying much, because that job is really good, and the item itself is also really good, but, you know. Oh, okay. We haven't gotten this yet from this guy. We only got the freelancer one, so... Yeah, but you can mitigate that by being in the back row. True. High mind stat. Surprisingly enough. Yeah. Oh, okay, is that how that works? I didn't know that part. I guess I didn't pay enough attention before. Oh, we can buy high potions from here, too. That's not bad. We had a good chunk of gold needles. We might need them in the next dungeon, but I might buy a couple of mallets as well. Why not? Might as well have them, just in case we don't have enough MP to cast many, you know? Yeah, we'll buy 8 high potions, just in case. I don't think we're going to need them that much, but having 10 of them should catch us through, or get us through, for just a little while, anyway. So there is actually a use case for using a single mallet rather than using a mini spell, but that's something we'll do later, so. Alright, let's keep looking around. Wonder what that's all about. Oh, we can go downstairs in just a minute. Oh, okay. Well, we can try. We're not exactly amphibians, but we'll do the best we can. Well, we can. Yeah, you can't go see the other Horn of Ice because you're blocked by an invisible plot wall. Oh, okay, sorry. Didn't realize that. I think I'm going to go outside and save, actually, because we bought a few things and sold a few things. So let's just get, like, a written record of everything we got down before we go into the underground lake, because it's another dungeon. And, well, I don't think the boss at the end of this one is as tricky as Medusa is supposed to be. Again, I think I made Medusa look easier than she actually is, but the boss in the next dungeon, oh boy, a lot of people think that's one of the toughest bosses in the game, and quite honestly, I agree with them. Even with the Arctic Wind we have in our inventory, it'll probably still be a pretty challenging fight. I think what I'm going to do in that fight, though, is the way that a lot of bosses work in this game is that once they get down to about 1/3 of their HP left, that's when they start busting out the really nasty moves, like all the, you know, attack all targets, spells, and stuff like that, so I might save the Arctic Wind until I do a certain amount of damage, and then I'll just be like, okay, well, you're almost dead, so let's just use this on you now. So, yeah, damn you, plot wop! Okay, time to take another dip. Yes, ma'am. Would have made more sense if Luneth was the white mage in that particular case, but yeah, it's okay. Actually, funnily enough, I considered making Ingus the warrior and Luneth the white mage. Luneth doesn't wear his turtleneck as the white mage, though, which is kind of disappointing to me personally, but if Ingus was to have been the warrior, he could class change. The next class that he's going to change into kind of makes him look like Link from The Legend of Zelda. So he doesn't have, like, the floppy hat. He has, like, a feather cap instead, but, you know. Bustin' wicked moves. Oh, dear. Yeah, oh boy, here we go again. Here I go toading again. Apparently I've got 4 MP now to use in that section, so. Robin Hood? Something like that, yeah. Now, what weapon did Robin Hood use prominently? Oh, we're back to this music again. Alright, well, we're out of Toad now. And again, don't be afraid to use teleport. It will come in handy to you, so. I hope, anyway. But yeah, we're in the subterranean lake now. And there's an enemy in here that actually is fairly interesting. And here they are right here. Bombs. I don't remember if these ones self-destruct like typical bombs in Final Fantasy games, but this is the first time we're meeting with an enemy that has a very interesting slot 2 steal. We'll say it that way. What's their slot 2 steal? Well, we can't access it just yet, but we will be able to eventually. So they do have high potions in their slot 1, though, so that's pretty nice. We're starting to get better at that, and also that one took 666 damage from a regular blizzard spell. Hope you're not superstitious, Raphia. Bow, longbow even. Yeah, something like that. I mean, we've been using bows for a good chunk of the game, so I guess logically it extends that we would have a class, we'll gain another class that has access to the bow, so. Been like 13 years since you had that class on weapons. Yeah, the last time I had longbows specifically on a weapon was when I played Dragon's Dogma. God, that was a good game. We'll come back to that eventually. Actually, I haven't played it for the stream, so come back to it is kind of a misnomer. We'll play it for the stream eventually, just not yet. I'm trying to save it for a little while because I enjoy it so much. It's like an A-tier game for me, so... I wonder if these manticores are as tricky as some of the other chimeras that we'd have to fight somewhere else. I don't actually know what they're weak to. I don't think they're weak to any particular element. Maybe I should use the light staff since that's the case. There it is. And then you can just use the ice staff, I guess. Let's see what kind of damage we deal. Yeah, that's not quite enough to get rid of them. But that is, so that's a good thing. Wow, this thing's got more than 302 HP. That's nuts. It's starting to ratchet up the HP totals here. I might have to actually have Eric attack, because he can't have that much left at this point. And I already have enough gold needles, so... Let's see if Eric can finish him off. Let's just let everybody else guard. The bow is under tension and will whoop you if mishandled. Remember that part. Okay, he has more than 328 HP. That's a lot. More than I thought. I'm just gonna try to check and see like how much he has real quick. Hold on. I should be able to heal all that off. Okay. We're pushing 350 now. I think I'll just have Lunith attack. So it's obvious to me that these guys have like 400-ish HP just from that. I mean, I guess I could check, right? I could just look at an FAQ or something. Oh, I should mention, by the way, if you're looking for a good FAQ for this game, I've been trying to kind of look and see if I could find one that I think is pretty decent, and Sephiraga's FAQ for the DS version works pretty well for this version, and also is pretty solid in terms of what it offers. There's a couple of little, like, errors in it that I noticed, specifically when it comes to steals, but... yeah, it's pretty good. I'd recommend that one if you're looking for a guide to work with this game. So, oh, we're getting some job levels out of this at least. Oops, there we go. Top ourselves off real quick, and then we're good to go. Try to have a little bit of our level 1 MP left over by the end, but I'm not that worried about it, honestly. Let's see, guard, steel, ice staff, ice staff. A steel-type thief Pokemon? There's an idea for your art pals. Yeah, there you go. That'd be interesting, honestly. Because, like, I guess in that case, what does it steal? You know what I mean? It's stealing steel. I suppose it would just steal, like, chunks of iron from something. Like Tinkaton, only more gremlin. I don't know if that's even possible. Okay, well, we don't need to go down there. 3 bombs? I'm totally unprepared for 3. Actually, don't know if I can handle all 3 of these guys, but not in one turn anyway. Not without burning an Antarctic wind. Well, there's a bit of a difference in terms of the damage here now, isn't there? 67, 4. It's too bad I can't direct the enemies to specifically target Eric or Lunith at the moment, since they've got the most HP. Sadly, that ability does not exist in this game. Yet. Yeah, I got a little bit of HP on you. That's okay. I can advance a little bit more. I probably should add Eric Steele from one of the other ones, but that's okay. Just do that, and then do a little here. There we go. Now. They're really keen on making sure that Ingus has the worst day ever, aren't they? That's why I preemptively heal with him, because it seems like the enemies are targeting him more often than most anything else. Well, we gain another level, that's a good thing. Ingus will get his level soon enough. Although I think I need to give him a couple of potions right now. Okay, might as well distribute them out since I gave him one to Refia. Because those regular potions are not going to be particularly useful going forward. And also, enemies will stop having regular potions to steal pretty soon. So, like, there'll be more high potions than anything else. Which is nice for me, because then that means I don't have to buy them. Now hit Eric or Luneth. Damn it. That's a lot of damage. Okay, do one of these. One of these. There we go. And then Ice Staff and Ice Staff. Ow. Magnetic platters and a thin mobile frame? I don't know, that's all you got. Sounds more like an Ultra Beast. UB Snatch or something. There you go. UB Snatch sounds like somebody's... Well, actually no, because Snatch is like... It can be interpreted as a vulgar word, right? I forget, but I was going to say that almost sounds like somebody's stage name or something. But ooh, nice rare drop there. So that bomb arm that we just got, actually... So, bomb fragments deal regular fire damage, right? So that means they cast Fyra. And bomb arms deal intense fire damage, which means they cast Fyraga. Arctic Winds cast Blizzaga, for references, and Zeus's Wraths cast Thundara, and Arctic Winds cast Blizzara. These bomb arms are the slot to steal from the bombs in this area. So if you want to cast Fyraga, all you need is a Thief at level 31 or higher, and... to basically just, you know, steal from these bombs. And there you go. Then you can cast Fyraga this early in the game. That's a substantial boost to our damage. Yeah, never mind, Eep. I know. Sorry for putting that thought process in your head there. My bad. Probably better that I say it, though, than somebody else say it. So you'll know when you're getting close to the end of this area, because if I remember correctly, there's a bunch of like gold piles at the bottom of this place. I guess this is like the extra storage or something for the dwarves. I don't know. Something like that. That doesn't look like a stalagmite. You guys are lying to me. I wonder if you're weak to blizzard or fire. I guess might as well try things out. Again, everybody press all the buttons! I'm gonna go turn my light on while this happens. Watch me come back and like half my party's dead or something. Be right back. Well, not half of my party, but all of the enemy party is dead, so hey, that's a good thing. Alright, still gaining job levels, that's a good thing. The evil raspberries have been defeated, yes. Horde Dragon, regional variant to High Dragon, steel type with a horde of metal, hey, maybe. Remember, dragons are known to hoard that sort of stuff, so... Excuse me, maybe it just hoards regular metal instead of actual gold. I'm getting a couple of Zeus's Wraths. I would not recommend using those, though, because they're a little, well, maybe not that tricky to come by, because knockers you can steal them from knockers, but they're somewhat tricky, I guess, to come by, at least for right now. So later, but later we will use them. Like, when we're getting closer to the actual water crystal, that's when they'll be more useful. So it's funny, though, how powerful item magic gets once you get a certain number of those spell items, you know? Oh. Well, that's no good. Especially on Ingus, because he's the one that, you know, actually has to, like, gain the experience in this battle. So I guess we'll just Gold Needle him with Eric, because Eric is fastest and will guard with everybody else. I feel like this is going to turn into a runaway train, though. But we'll see. Yeah, Zeus's Wrath. Zeus. Yeah, see what I mean? Runaway train. Because now I can't really end the battle until everybody is unstoned. But eventually he'll stop stoning me. Maybe. Isn't he known for lust, though? Yeah, there is that, too. Yeah. Let's see here. I guess we'll just attack now that everybody's no longer stoned. Let's see. Let's try the Light Staff, see if it's any more effective. Probably is, because Thunder is just a level 2 spell, which means it has higher base power, so... Discovered you from your Crossing Blades mix, like right now. Well, thanks for watching that. It's been a little while since I posted those, so it's nice to hear there's people still watching those. Although I think the Crossing Blades mix still has, like, the most views of any video on my channel, so... I guess it's not that shocking that that would happen, but yeah, Italian, it's Bullet, right? Or is it Buffet? No, it's definitely Bullet. My eyes are working, I swear. Italian Bullet, welcome to the stream. How you doing? We are in the subterranean lake in Final Fantasy III, just, trying to find the rogue that stole the Horn of Ice from the dwarves. He's got to be around here somewhere. Oh, it randomly appeared on your homepage. Yeah, YouTube's recommended sometimes just happens to do that. They, especially when videos have as many views as that one does, it'll make the rounds, kind of, in a lot of people's cases, so. Oh, Ruinous Wave! Boy, that sounds terrifying, and also Sea Devils. I'm gonna need to use Thunder in this case, because I only have one Light Staff, so... Oh, actually, Refia, why don't you cast that on the Sea Devil, and we'll use the Light Staff on the Ruinous Wave. There we go. Because you should be able to one-shot the Sea Devil with a Thunder spell. Oh, okay, never mind. Everybody can just one-shot with the Thunder spell. I'll take it. I'll also take that potion, which is apparently something that you've just got in your gullet. Ruinous Wave's got the moves. Yeah, I like how it, like... I just like the way it articulates the model for the wave enemies or the water elementals, because they're like spinning like a... It's almost like cycling. They're not really cycling, but also they're kind of dancing a little bit. It's nice. It gives me a little bit of like... It's just very nice looking, I guess. I don't know. Oh, some money. I'll take that. Why not? Even more money. I think the money piles are up here. Yeah, because the ground is starting to look like gold, so... Let's just top off before we get too deep in here. There we go. And then... yeah, I think we're all set and ready to go. Just, you know, do the same thing we did in the last fight, boss fight, and we should be okay. Just blast with Blizzara and Thundara and all that crazy stuff. And, I mean, we've got 3 charges of it, so hey, why not? We gotta be a little careful in this fight for reasons that I'll describe if they show up, but, you know, it'll probably be fine. Ah, I was gonna say, Gutsko, I assume. I will not skibobble. I don't even know what that is. The horn is not yours. What's the line? No, you're not taking this. I found it. It's mine. Well, right, but when I take it from you, it'll be mine. No snappy comeback for that one, Gutsko. But yeah, we gotta fight Gutsko, so we will do that. Again, High Potion is available for stealing. Refia can just smash him with her level 3 elemental spells. We can now cast 1 of each before we have to stop doing that, so there we go. Please do not lift that leg further. Yeah, I don't need to see what's under that loincloth, sir. Actually. Looks like Gutsko's pretty quick, though, so... That's actually a good thing, because it means that we can heal after the damage happens, rather than before. But maybe that was just unlucky, or lucky, depending on how you look at it. No High Potion. I don't accept that. Torch him. There we go. Very nice. Just keep stealing. Why not? Do a Blizzara. He's not weak to any particular element. Certain enemies are weak to certain elements, but Gutsko's not weak to any one in particular, so might as well just blast him, you know? There's the High Potion. Ah, yes, I got lucky, or unlucky, depending on how you deal with it last turn, because now I'm taking all my turns first, which means Gutsko's now going to hit me after this. And then he'll hit me before I can heal next turn. It's just how this all happens. But yeah, here's the gist of the fight. He can cast Mini on your characters, and he can target everybody with it. And then if he whacks you upside the head after casting Mini, well, it deals pretty significant damage, so you gotta be a little careful of that. I can't really afford to stop and have Ingus cast Mini to heal us of it, though, so I guess I'm just going to use mallets to fix that. Why don't you use another mallet as well while Refia takes care of business there with Thundara. And then Ingus just keep casting Cure, and we should be okay for a little while. I don't remember how much HP Gutsco has, though, but we should be able to handle it without too much trouble. Somebody might die if he whacks them too hard while they're minied, but, you know, it'll be okay. It'll all work out just fine. Bonk. Bonk. Aha, I have turned back to Bigify. Well, the level 3 spells did not quite kill him. No panicking yet, but we might be getting close to panicking. Let's see here. So, probably a high potion's in order for... Well, actually, Lunith probably doesn't need one. He probably just needs a regular potion, because he's got enough defense as long as Gutsco doesn't mini him first and then whack him upside the head, which would be very unfortunate to happen right now, but, you know, that could be the thing that's about to happen. And I just wouldn't even know. But looks like Eric got the potion off, so we should be fine. The Cure will top us off. I didn't even know that was going to go next. I started saying it the pixel that he started casting it. That's funny. And then we'll just Thunder in advance until Gutsco is down. Shouldn't be too much longer. Yeah, that's a little pathetic, but hey. He tried, though. I'll give him credit. He tried to do the, like, actual meta strat where he minied Eric and then punched him so hard in the face that he took, like, 200 damage, but yeah, it didn't really work out for him. Alright, so now we do a Thunder, and then I think I'm going to have you use the Light Staff, actually. I'm going to take a little risk here. Oh, I should mention this, by the way. So bosses in this game, so far as we've seen, have had 2 actions per turn. Typically speaking, they do not use their special abilities more than once in that turn. They'll always, if it's 2 turns, they'll always have 1 physical attack, and then they have a chance of using 1 special ability. So, like, in this case, he'll use Mini, and then he'll just punch you. Or opposite order, where he'll punch you and then use Mini. So, yeah, it just kind of depends. So, I'm just gonna use a physical attack at this point. What else am I gonna do, right? Alright, you use the Light Staff this time. There we go. And then we'll get to curing again. Punt child-sized person like football. Yeah, that's just about right, quite honestly. that is his strategy, actually. Punt child-sized person like football. I guess he really is a bit of a rogue, isn't he? It's not very nice, Gutsco. I forget how much HP he has, but I don't think it's much more than Medusa, so... Of course, we had a little more DPS with Medusa because Desch was here, but shouldn't be too much longer. And I mean, I'm not really concerned if these battles drag for a little bit because it means we're getting some very valuable job experience, so... Hey, no skin off my nose, right? I think I potioned with Eric. I probably shouldn't have done that, actually, because Lunith, yeah, is going to be just about topped off, but oh well. Now he's fully topped off. There we go. Got him. Yeah, so far so good, honestly. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, so I'm going to knock on wood, but, like... So far, the bosses haven't been too bad, and we have another Antarctic wind because one of the enemies in here dropped one, so I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So that's helpful because that means we have even more ammunition for the next boss. I mean, it's the fire crystal, so take a guess at what they're weak to, you know? A few job levels to pass around as well, that's not bad. The closer Eric gets to level 30, job level 31, the better off we'll be. So... Well, I'll take that from you, thank you. Good job picking his pocket, Eric. It's easiest to pick their pocket when they're, you know, collapse on the ground and can't stop you. Oh. Vanished or died? Well, we can't get a confirmed kill because his body vanished, but that's okay. We've got the horn now, so it's not really a big deal. And also we got a full party heal, so that's equally nice. 1297. Okay. Cool. I could swear something's following me. Well, maybe it's nothing. Pay no attention to that. It's probably just my own shadow playing tricks on me. Actually, why don't you cast Thunder, since we still have only one light staff. But there we go. Those coins look like scalloped potatoes, kind of tasty. Maybe snack time. It's snack time for me when this is done. I haven't had my snack yet today. I actually switched up how I do snacks now as well. I used to have 3 snacks a day, but that I ended up eating like really often. So I combined 2 of the snacks together. I get most of my milk intake for the second snack of the day, so that's the one I'm going to eat after the stream is over, but I have milk, and then I have a cookie, which is the only chocolate that I eat in the day, and I have pretzels, and I have yogurt. Oh, another Antarctic wind. Thank you, that's even more helpful. Yeah, so I get a little bit of calcium at the end of the day, let it process through my system, and then the lactase, or the lactostasis acidophilus that's in the yogurt, will actually just munch on the lactose that's in the milk. I don't particularly have a problem with lactose, but hey, you never know. Can't be too careful, right? Okay, let's see. Yeah, might as well try using the light staff on this guy, and then you... Oh, you can both use the same light staff? Okay, oh hey, okay. You know what? Never mind. I was thinking, oh, we're gonna need 2 because it won't be in the inventory if we do it that, but nope. We can quite literally just use the exact same light staff with 2 characters. Something lacks toes? Yeah, it's really big. It's a really big problem, honestly. I hope it gets resolved. I need more toes in my intestines, apparently. God, that sounds like some kind of weird eldritch abomination. It just has toes instead of villi in its small intestine. What the hell? It sounds like, what was that one game that was recommended to me not too long ago on my YouTube feed where it's like, was it Look Outside? I feel like that's what it was. Where, like, the people that were outside were just like these disgusting abominations that just had things that weren't supposed to be, like just stuff on their body that was definitely not supposed to be where it was, you know? So, yeah, sounds like Look Outside. Yeah, so I guess we're on the same wavelength with that. Just about. So yeah, definitely, I think worth coming back here after you get your Thief to job level 31, because even if you don't get the bomb arm from these guys, you can at the very least get high potions from them, and that's really nice. So, plus they're a pretty common encounter. You can find them pretty much on the first floor of the subterranean lake, so that's not bad. Oh, there are pun-based enemies there? Okay, gotcha. Might as well get the puns in while we can. Once again, 3. I'm totally unprepared for 3. Actually don't think I can KO them with even the combination of Eric and Lunith here, but that's okay. There are so many hands. It's like Final Fantasy Legend 3 where there's just mouths where there's not supposed to be mouths. That was actually like... I mentioned it when we played Final Fantasy Legend 3 for the stream, but that was like their MO for the entire game, was just, oh, okay, want to make it more terrifying? Put more mouths on it than it's definitely supposed to have. The final boss is literally just mouths all over its body. It's like a blob. It looks like a meatball with tentacles, but the meatball with tentacles has like 9 mouths on it. And that's your final boss, basically. So, it's just one of those things, you know. Games apparently have certain things that they go to, almost like shorthand, you know. Man-at-Arms is literally just guns and hands in the shape of a soldier. Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly, actually. Oh boy. I would think he'd be more like Man of Arms, but that might be a little too on the nose. And his nose is probably a Gatling gun. Alright, we're almost out. I don't mind walking back through here, honestly. The Manticores are a little annoying, but, like, it's not that big of a deal, you know? So. Alright, so let's just have everybody target the one Manticore at a time, and then we know we'll get rid of it. And then we can just get rid of the other one the second turn. Or maybe I should have just had you guys use the light staff. That probably would have taken care of that, maybe taken care of that one guy. No, it probably wouldn't have had enough damage, honestly. Ow. Okay, well, we get to start this loop again, where I have to toss out gold needles until he stops stoning me. I'm just gonna cure all. Honestly, the creepiest place to use probably the fungus dungeon, Resident Evil looking things. Yeah, honestly, like anything that resembles Resident Evil, especially like I got creeped out pretty good by Resident Evil 7 actually. Like the mold enemies, I mean they weren't too bad once you knew how to take care of them, but they creeped me out just a little bit. I think honestly though, the things that creep me out more in video games, like I think I get more creeped out in first person than I do in third person because I'm like in the character, you know what I mean? It feels more personal, I guess, when things creep me out in that one. Although I will say that I didn't get creeped out by Grandma in Resident Evil 7. I always just was like, I was always looking forward to seeing Grandma because she kind of just randomly appears in these just corners of this, like wherever you're going. And I was always like, oh, Grandma, so good to see. And actually, at the end of the game, it's like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't have been so happy to see Grandma. Whoops. Oh, they look like the texture of wet sandpaper? Ugh. I already don't like sandpaper, especially when it brushes against itself. Ugh. So, wet sandpaper sounds even worse. Okay, well, looks like we're all gaining some levels, and that'll actually give us a little bit of a buffer, because the next boss, I think, is at level 18, and we're almost all at 17 now. So, if we can get Ingus to 17 before we leave, which should be feasible, because I have to turn into toads just to leave anyway. So let's just wander around until we get them there. Of course, the last one is Manticores, why wouldn't it be? But yeah, so if we can get everybody to 17 now, we'll probably get to 18 by the time we get through the next area, and that would actually be good because 18, like I said, I think is the level the next boss is at, so. Well, we tried, Refia. 360 damage was an admirable effort, but it still wasn't quite enough to knock them out. As I say, you guys are hitting the wrong ones if you're trying to get damage off. My mages have pretty good magic defense with all of their armor. Actually, we've all got pretty good magic defense, at least against fire for right now because of all the ice equipment. And actually, Lunith has even better defense against everything except electricity because he's got the Flame Mail, which gives him resistance against ice, and he's got the Ice Helm, which gives him resistance against fire, so... doing pretty good. Some Final Fantasy IV stuff. In 4, you can also combine ice and fire equipment together. And, sorry. In that game, though, you actually are weak to the opposite elements. So, like, if you equip the Flame Mail, you're weak to ice. If you equip the Ice Helm, you're weak to fire. But they cancel each other out, so if you equip both of them at the same time, the weaknesses cancel. Which can be pretty nice. So... alright, back to Toadville. The city of Toadsville! Something like that. Then we'll untoad. And we'll return the horn to the dwarves. Go from there. Still haven't found the fire crystal yet, but maybe they can point me in the right direction once we put the horn back. Probably need to... I mean, I imagine if it's a Horn of Ice, you probably need the Horns of Ice in order to even get to the Crystal of Fire, because, you know, Ice and Fire are opposing elements, generally speaking, in Final Fantasy. So... Sir, I found your horn. Sounds vulgar. Lolly-ho to you as well. Okay. Well, there go the electric worms. They had to do, excuse me, the electric slide to get out of there. Alright, well, let's go back in there. I still feel like I'm being followed by something. Well, and we're almost there now. Might as well not think about it, right? There you go. Oh, damn it, I knew I was being followed by something. It was Gutsko. He didn't die, he disappeared and turned into a shadow so he could follow us. And now he's going to take both of the horns. That's not good. Yeah, what's the point? Oh, yeah, so I was pretty much right. In order to get into the tunnel leading to the Crystal of Fire, you need the Horns of Ice, so... I guess he's gonna go take the ward down for us, which is problematic because, yeah, now both of them have been stolen, but also not problematic because now we can get into the Fire Crystal area, so I guess we, in a way, that's a win. Which one of these was the inn? I think this one's the inn. No, this is not the inn. Do I have anything worth selling, even? Probably not, right? Let's see. No, not really. Might as well hold on to all this stuff, actually, for now. So. But, anyway. We just got to get through the cave to the north, which is apparently where the Fire Crystal is going to be, and then hopefully we'll catch up to Gutsko before he does something stupid. Sure, I'll take a rest. Got a good chunk of money out of that dungeon, though, so that's kind of nice. I almost want to go turn off my air conditioner again, but we're literally about to go into a cave made of fire, so I don't know if that's a good idea. I might need the actual cooling. Just looking at it might make me feel warm. And I can always turn it off after I'm done with the stream when there's less, because, I mean, my computer is, you know, obviously moving hot while I'm doing this. It's not quite as warm as it could be if I was playing, like, a PC game, but, you know. Might as well try to keep it cool, so that way it doesn't have a problem. Alright, so next area is where the Fire Crystal is. We're going to get our next set of jobs once we get there, but of course we have to get there first, and I don't think it's... well, let me think about that. It is kind of challenging to get there because, you know, the enemies are pretty tough. They're all weak to ice, but if there's more than 2 of them, we won't be able to just use ice stabs on them. But, you know, it's probably fine. The boss, though, as I said, is considered by many to be one of the toughest bosses in the game. And I'm trying to think if I want to go to Giselle before I go there, because that would be... I'd be able to, I think, get a spell from there that we could use right now that Refia would put to reckless abandon in that fight. But, I usually don't go to Giselle until after I get... take care of stuff at Castle Argus so we can get the airship back up and running for Cid. So, since that's the case, let's just keep things consistent. We'll just go in as we are and hope for the best. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal, honestly, because, like, we have ice stabs, so we shouldn't use any MP pretty much going through here, so... Ah! There's the crystal dungeon music, so if you weren't aware of the fact that the Fire Crystal is going to be in the Fire Cave yet, well, you're aware now. Looks like there's molten lava down there. I get the feeling we're going to be taking a dip in that in just a moment. Well, holy crap, another giant turtle. Adamantoise. Okay, well, we can probably handle him. I think almost everything in here is weak to ice, so yeah, those ice stabs should come in pretty handy for us. Just keep throwing them out and we should be good to go. I forget if this guy has... There's an item that you can get in this game called a turtle shell, I forget if this guy has it as a stealable item. Maybe in slot 2. I could be wrong about that. Wow, he's got a lot of HP. But turtle shells will cast the protect spell if you use them, so. And protect lasts, I think, 20 turns in this game, so it's quite a long-lasting buff. Bacchus' Cider, by comparison, that casts haste lasts about 5, so. Oh, look, another Antarctic wind. Think of that animation with the overworld sprite being the actual player character size. They just enlarge themselves with magic to walk places faster. Oh, I think I remember that, because I think Marie showed me that at one point. Yeah, where they're like 30 feet tall on the overworld or something, and it just zooms down to the trees, and they're just stomping on everything. I think I remember that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a visual representation, honestly. It's just like, hey, so you're actually getting there slower than this, but for the purpose of keeping the player entertained, let's get you there faster. I'm surprised we've seen 2 Adamantoises so far. Usually I think they're kind of rare. But hey, I mean, I guess I'll take it, you know, why not? Alright, so you gotta be careful with lava walking, because if I remember correctly, you can't encounter any enemies in the lava, but you take substantial damage just being in it, so. So every one of those blanks that you're seeing there, that was 10 damage that we took, so. Gotta be a little careful. We should have enough cures to make it through, but yeah, definitely be careful when you're wandering through. We won't have to do too much lava walking, but we do have to do some. Oh yeah, you can get into encounters in the lava as well, so that's one more reason to be careful of your HP, I guess. Again, not that it's a huge deal. I think there's, like I said, only one enemy in this entire dungeon that's not itself weak to ice, so we should be able to handle that. And the damage is a little bit tricky, but it should be manageable. Like, this guy's dealing 100 damage to Refia, but we can handle that. Oh, and I think it still damages you if you stand still, the lava does as well. Oh, really, another Antarctic wind. I'm just going to throw all the Antarctic winds I have when we get into a battle, quite honestly. I feel like we've got so many of them at this point. How many do we actually have? We have 9 and 1 Arctic wind. Yeah, I'm just going to throw as many of them as I can when we get into the actual fight. I'll use a Cura, why not? That'll top us all off all the way. So. Play this Oregon Trail minigame every time you travel to and from places. People would riot, and then make it a cult classic, probably. Yeah, because Oregon Trail was already kind of a cult classic, so people would definitely have a time with that, so. Red marshmallow, huh? Doesn't look like much of a marshmallow. These balloons have the same steel tables as the bombs in the subterranean lake. They're just not quite as common here, because there's like 7 or 8 enemies you can encounter just in this cave alone, so. Bombs are a little more common, so I would steal from them rather than the grenades. But, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Steal from whichever one you want. It's just, you know, you might be waiting a little longer. Oh, we're getting job levels. That's a good thing for my magic. I forget how many floors this place is, but again, you'll know in this particular case when you get to the actual floor where the boss is, because similar to in the altar cave, you'll hear the dunga 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 dunga, that music going on in the background when you reach the actual place where, like, basically the music will change from what it is now to the crystal area music. I think this is the enemy that's not weak to, yeah, Myrmicolion, something like that. He's not weak to ice. The Crocata is weak to ice, though, so we'll just have Refia handle that one, and then we'll have Angus handle this guy. I'm still going to use the ice staff because it's very warm in here, and I need relief from the lava. Yeah, probably between Lunith and Angus, we should be able to take this guy out. If not, it'll be close. There we go. Cool. There are crocodiles in here. Yeah, that's the puggiest looking crocodile I've ever seen. Ow. A crocodile with a dog's body. Now I've seen everything. Yeah, nice croc, bro. Thanks! Oh, there's a freezing blade. So that's kind of similar to the Salaman sword. It deals ice damage instead of fire damage, though. So it would be pretty good for the boss fight. And, I mean, it might be worth considering equipping on Lunith, but I don't know. I'm probably literally just going to yeet a whole bunch of Antarctic and Arctic winds at the boss instead of actually dealing damage with weapons. Just because they've given me so many of them, I might as well, you know. Yeah, ice staff for you, and an ice staff for you. Shadow.jpg. Thankfully, we got rid of that guy in the after the previous dungeon. Otherwise, I'd be getting followed by Gutsco into here. You know, I wonder why he didn't do that. You know, like, I know he wanted to have the horns, but maybe the dwarves would have given me both of the horns to let me get into here, and then he could have just literally followed us through this whole dungeon and then done whatever he's going to do with the crystal. But I suppose this makes things more urgent, doesn't it? Because now we have to follow after him as quickly as we can, otherwise problems will arise. Well, either way, we should be able to get there before too long. If we keep good time, we can probably finish this area, and I can talk about how I'm going to, I guess, train up for the next section, because I'm going to do that in between streams, even if it doesn't happen until, probably won't happen until the end of this week when the next stream is going to happen, so. Quite honestly, I have 0 time during the week, but there you go. YouTube interface being weird, gonna hop out for a minute to refresh. Sounds like a plan, Chris. We'll see you in just a moment. Alright, I'll just do that much. That's enough to get us out through here, because still got a bit of lava walking left to go. Phoenix down. I forget which way is the way forward. Probably this one, actually. But that's okay. I guess steal from that guy. Ice staff to go-go, and ice staff to go-go. Ice fragmental. I was waiting. There we go. Ice fragmental. I probably shouldn't channel that game's energy anymore. I'm through it, so I don't think I need to give myself PTSD every time I say it, you know? Oh good, you didn't stun me that time. Oh, but I didn't KO you either. That sucks. I mean, he's got to be on basically death's door, right? Maybe I should have Refia. Okay, yeah, he was basically on death's door. Maybe I should have Refia use the staff on the Myrmicolions, because I can't imagine Ingus won't KO with the ice staff. But, you know. Yeah, this is the way out. I'm going to go to the other direction to see if I can find... There might be another treasure or something. So, alright, let's try my plan that I just said, where I have Refia help out with the Myrmicolion, and then let Ingus take care of the Crocata. Well, so far, so good. It's a little bit of a low roll, but that's fine. Will this KO? Yes, it will. Will this KO? Yes, it will. Okay, so that's the way to do that battle. Got it. To make it like easier on us. We're probably pretty close to another level up. Okay, maybe not that close, but we will get there before we get to the end of the dungeon. Also, our job levels are looking pretty nice, actually. We're all at about level 20 or a little higher. So, it takes a little more effort for your mages to get their job level up than everybody else, because I think Lunith and Eric, they get like 14 job points per action they take in battle, whereas Refia and Ingus, since they're on mage jobs, it takes them, I think they get 12 job points per action they take, so it takes them 8 actions, whereas Eric and Lunith, it only takes about 7. So, yeah, just gotta be a little careful, you know. Do a little more action to get to where you need to go. But that's okay, because the thing about, like, the reason why it takes them longer is because, like, you get the quote-unquote upgrades for Warrior and Thief, well, kind of, before you get the upgrades for Black Mage and White Mage. So you'll probably, you know, be able to class change Lunith and Eric in this case before you would class change Refia and Ingus, but, you know. I'm actually going to be class changing a little bit soon enough. Actually, half of my team is going to class change from the next crystal, so... And by that I mean the fire crystal. And the other half of my team will class change shortly after that, so... I've been put to sleep by a Crocata smashing me in the face. That's not good, because now the Myrmicolion will stay alive. Oh well. Take care of it next turn. Smashing, 1, 2, 4. Okay. All good now. That's good. I'm glad it's all good now for you. But welcome back. We are standing in lava, apparently. I guess I'll top off before I keep walking. Yeah, well, top off is relative, isn't it? Still have potions, though. We can almost top off. You know what? I'm just going to use this one. That's fine. We've only got one left, but that's okay. We'll find a good use for it at some point, I'm sure. I think there's one more floor's worth of lava walking, and then we don't have to worry about that anymore. And I guess I should apologize in case anybody's a little photosensitive. The flashing that happens when we take damage might be a little jarring. So I apologize if that's the case. Impact Claws, huh? Those probably go pretty good with your Sonic Knuckles. I think around this point in the dungeon is usually where I start to see Adamantoises, so I guess I'm not shocked at seeing him here now, but... Oh wow, they're changing their class? I'll be sure to support them. I'm sure they'll appreciate that, yeah. Changing their class, changing their job. I think I, like, sometimes just, like, intersperse job and class now. I probably wouldn't have done that if I hadn't played Final Fantasy XIV, because in 14, you start the game as a class, and then you don't get your job until level 30. So, alright, let's keep walking. Risk it for the biscuit. There we go. Another one of those walnut rocks. Maybe those are a fixture in all of the crystal dungeons? I don't know. Use another Cura, why not? Gender, what's that? Something like that. Fluid, that's what that is. Generally speaking, it's fluid. A type of fluid. No. Anyway. Yeah, I identify as a mage. Yeah, there you go. It's like that one meme where the person identified as an attack helicopter. Like, okay, fair enough. You know what? I'm not even going to question that. I don't think I can. Or I could, but I'd never stop questioning it. Oh boy. Okay, think I found a use for our final potion. We might as well just hand it to Refia right now. Then we'll just have our high potions in the front slots. So. But yeah, generally speaking in this game, if the enemy has high potions in their first slot to steal, they've probably got some pretty decent stuff in their second and third slots. So, and usually it's the same item in their second and third slots. So, worth thinking about, I think, anyway. Alright, take me to my next destination. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll work. But we are not quite there yet, because, well, it's just a big circular room. After this, I think we are there, though. Yep. Because the music stopped. And now the music's starting again. White mages win November. I can see you. I can see your internet history. I know what you're up to. No, that's okay. Honestly, I could see it being a thing that white mages just do. Oh, we didn't get to level 18. Okay, well, we'll get there from the boss fight at the very least, so. Now, do I equip Lunith with the freezing blade? I don't really have any... I mean, I kind of want to keep him in the back row, so I don't know if I really want to do that. I could just have him... I think I can use the freezing blade as an item to have it cast Blizzard, but I don't think it'll do that much damage, so... I guess I'll probably just start throwing out the Arctic winds and Antarctic winds we have. Actually, no, I won't throw out the Arctic Wind just yet. I want to do about 3,500 damage to this guy before I throw out the Arctic Wind. And I'm probably going to throw it out with Refia to try to... No, I'll throw it with Ingus, actually, if possible, because he'll deal the most damage. So I'll try to get him down a certain amount of HP and, you know, obviously stay alive while I'm at it. But probably the whole fight will just be, like, Lunith attacking, Eric and Refia throwing around Blizzaras or Antarctic Winds, and Ingus healing until we get to a certain point. Then I'm just going to push all the way through to try to get to the other side of his HP bar before he starts doing some nasty stuff, because this boss does some nasty stuff if you're not careful. Guys, I don't think I let the look in his eye. Are you sure it's the power of fire, or is it just the power of darkness? Masquerading as the power of fire. So I was going to say, the crystals tried to hide their powers, didn't they? I don't think that's going to work out for you. I hope the Tower of Owen's okay. He's causing an earthquake with every step now. Oh, but it's not Gutsco attacking us. He's transformed into... Barney the dinosaur? No, Salamander. So, yeah, he it looks a little goofy in this version, but don't let the goof fool you. He is a nasty customer, and he deals a lot of damage. So, as you'll see shortly. So he does, in fact, look so goofy. Yes, I agree. He looks super goofy in this form, but. Yeah, his physical attacks deal about 100 damage, actually more, because that was 137, so a little bit of randomness in there, too. But the Antarctic Winds deal good damage. He has almost 6,000 HP, though, so this might take a little while. I should probably actually just start throwing the Antarctic Winds with everybody. So we've done about 700 damage now. I might have Eric throw a high potion after this, because we just got one. No, I'll have Lunith do it, actually, because Angus could use a little help, and Lunith's not going to deal much damage unless he has the Freezing Blade. And then Antarctic Wind, you can just cast Blizzara, because you have that, and then you just party-wide heal again. Of course, he goes first. Why wouldn't he? I'm just glad he didn't hit Ingus twice, because that would have literally been just the MO that this game has had for a while. But, you know, it's fine. Who knew Lunith would become the healer? The secondary healer for a little while here. But yeah, high potions heal for 500 HP, so they can just full heal us at this point. Not bad at all. Alright, we've dealt about, let's see, that would be 1100 plus whatever this does. 18. So we've got about 18 or 1900 damage that we've dealt to him thus far. So we'll just keep that in mind, because I'm gonna, like, when I tell you I'm gonna push for the end of the fight, I'm probably, like, gonna literally have everybody just go in on the last one. It's always the goofy ones looking at you, Wacka from Thousand Year Door. Yeah, I heard he became a super boss in the remake. I haven't played the remake yet, so... Alright, we dealt about 1100 more damage there, so that was, what, 19? So we're at about 3000. He's got 5700 HP. How do I want to do this? Because if I go too far, he's going to start using Flame Breath, which will... It's like a Fyra cast on your whole... No, it's a little stronger, actually, I think, than a Fyra cast on your whole party. So I think what I'll do is I'll advance... I would like you to... No, you know what I'll do is I'll have you guard. No, because that would deal too much damage if I had you do anything. So let's just have you two physical attack. You can cast another Blizzara. If I do that, it'll do about, let's see, 900 damage. That's 39 out of 57. That'll put him at exactly 33%. Which is a little sketchy, but we'll see if it works out. It might not. Ow. Hey, Were-Tiger, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Passing by to wish you good luck and cheer you up. Thank you, and thank you. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you love. I will attempt to do so. You keep doing what you love as well. I'm about to not love fighting the Salamander, because in a moment he's going to turn into a very pissed-off boss, but hopefully not too long after that he'll be dead. Alright, I think now's the time to just go all in. We have 6 Antarctic Winds left. Let's just throw them all. Use the Arctic Wind while we're at it as well. Angus, don't even heal. Just Just take another one of those Antarctic winds and yeet it at him. Okay. Okay, he did not use Flame Breath. We should be in the clear. I hope. That's 600. You guys will deal about 400 each. And the finishing blow. Yeah, all right. That went swimmingly, just like the Medusa fight. I'll take it. Internal error, that's not good. I hope that's not something that's happening on your end of my stream. Oh, all damage done to Waka increases its attack power. Is that what internal error means? Okay, gotcha. I was just hoping you weren't still having problems with my stream. That wouldn't have been good. But we all got a level out of it. We used the Arctic Wind for probably what it's supposed to be used for. And used up a good chunk of our Antarctic Winds. But we still have some left over as well, so... Nope, Stream Bronk. That's not good. We got the Horns of Ice back after defeating Gutsko, though. Stream Bronk, how fix? Oh, it ate the last comment? Oh, okay. That's why it says internal error. I see. What the hell, YouTube? Well, anyway, with one of the hardest bosses in the game defeated without too much trouble, because I used the Arctic Wind not first in the fight... I used it to help me skip his Flame Breath phase. Let's grab some new jobs, shall we? Okay. Well, for what it's worth, this is our second crystal, so shouldn't be too much longer before we can do that. And yeah, that blesses us with the power of fire. So now... we have access to all of the Fire Crystals jobs. We'll look at those when we get outside. For now, let's get out of here because the place smells like Gutsko. And that's gross. Shiny! Yeah, something like that. And actually, we did that pretty handily because, you know, it's not even 10 to 10 Eastern time. So, we'll have a little time to sail around. Maybe we'll go to Gasol? Maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I definitely want to make sure that I, like, demonstrate what I'm going to be doing in between streams. Although, again, as I said, that probably won't happen until Saturday because I literally have no time for games during the week. Oh, the struggles of being a model student, right? Excuse me. Plus, they've all got a midterm this week, so... ugh. We have, and we've got your Horns of Ice with us. Still sounds vulgar. Got handy with them and not in a way they liked. Yeah, there you go. Oh wait, actually the first Mognet side quest might unlock here. Yeah, here we go. Okay. The children are in trouble. Uh-oh. No rest for the wicked, apparently. Grave news. The children have not come back from their recent exploration trip. We have searched as far from as we dared, but we could not find them. From Topapa. We better get back to after this, and we need to go there anyway because that's really close to where I normally do my grinding that I was just talking about not too long ago, but... yeah, your security protocols need to be upgraded a little bit, I think. Oh, okay, thanks. So he'll give you a magic key. If you don't have a thief, you can use a magic key to open a locked door instead, so... why is it in quotes? That's a good question. I don't know. But yeah, it'll use up the key when you... and that was from the letter, right, that you're talking about it? Hang on. Let me see. Unless that's exploration that you're talking about. I don't know. I'm apparently missing some context. But, yeah, so the Horns of Ice have been returned. We get some magic keys from this guy. Again, those will open locked doors if you don't have a thief in the first slot of your party. Oh, he only gives you one. Okay. Well, it works on, yeah, any locked door in the game, yeah. So it doesn't matter which one. As long as the door is locked, you can open it with a magic key, so. Oh, okay, cool. Did you teach Michael Jackson how to do that, or? I'm pretty sure he moonwalked before this game came out, but... cool. I guess They felt like just sticking that in there because they could, you know? Why not? But now we get to loot the Dwarven Treasury, except not the gold that's down by where Gutskull was originally. I think this is a life spring, so if you need to revive KO'd party members, you can do that there. But yeah, there's a whole lot of treasure down here. Thanks, I'll make sure I put good use to it. Some Gasol greens. A heroic shield. Phoenix down. Not bad. Another Phoenix down. I'll take it. Can't never have enough of those. Another Book of Light. Knight armor. I get the feeling I know what one of the classes that we're going to unlock is. Probably two, actually. Considering we keep getting scholar stuff and books. Speaking of which, there's a Book of Fire. Scholar robe. We already got another scholar robe, but we did not have a scholar hat before this, so that's actually pretty nice. And there's the gauntlets that I was talking about not too long ago. Hold on to those along with the mithril shield for later. An otter shroom. I think that casts teleport if I remember correctly, so. And then an elixir. Our first one, I think, well, our first one that we get to keep anyway. We couldn't keep the one that Mrs. Sid needed, but yeah, the otter shroom will cast teleport, so if you don't have teleport, you can just use that instead. But there you go. Elixirs are nice in this game, though, because they're the only item, as far as I'm aware, in the game that restores MP. There are no ethers in this game, unlike in Final Fantasy II, so you got to manage your MP just a little bit. And part of that is, well, using elixirs when need be, so. But yeah, we won't need two scholar robes. Only scholars can equip them, and, well, I'm only planning on having one, so. We'll talk about that in a minute. If you were a dev, you would keep that in any remake. It's too good, the moonwalk. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of silly, so many chests, yes, but it means we get a ton of items that we can just make good use of for when we switch our jobs soon enough. And like I said, you can probably guess what at least a couple of them are just from the items that we just got in that chest, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. I don't really need to sell anything just yet. We're going to go back to anyway in a minute, so then we can sell stuff when we get there. Who is this broad? Oh, okay. Sir, are you okay? We have a white mage, if you need the help. Oh, what's going on in Tokul? Oh, that's not good. How did this guy get there from the other side of the world, basically? Oh, okay. Well, that gives me all the incentive I need. I was going to switch to one anyway, but apparently this Hein guy can switch his weakness at will with a barrier shift, even. So we'll have to keep that in mind for just a little while from now when we actually make the switch. But before we make the switch, let's go back to We're not going to go to Tokul today. We're going to go once the next episode starts. So let's go back to so we can go see what's going on there before we take care of everything else. I think I can probably just Annette's. I can probably just take these guys out with the light staff. So let's try it, shall we? Let's see here. There we go. No, you would have thought an otter shroom would make you into an otter and let you swim over gaps. Am I a furry? No, I don't think that would make you a furry. Furries anthropomorphize things to give them, like animals, to give them human-like qualities. An otter shroom wouldn't anthropomorphize you, it would just turn you into what the industry calls a funny animal. So, like, what would be an example of this? So, like, most Disney movies don't have furry-like animals in them, anthropomorphized animals. They have funny animals. Whereas, like, I can't even think of an example of an actual, like, furry, anthropomorphized animal in an animated movie. Like, not off the top of my head, anyway. I guess that goes to show that I don't, you know, see anything about those very often. But, yeah, so, like, any Disney movie, the animals in that would be funny animals rather than, like, a furry animal, you know? I'm just trying to think, like... Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, honestly. It don't matter. Big cartoon eyes. Yeah, maybe Beast would be considered like an anthropomorphized animal, yeah. Although he isn't really a specific animal, but yeah, I could see that being like a furry animal, because he's not like... he's not just any animal. He's like this gigantic muscular animal that someone falls in love with. So yeah, he would be like a furry type of a thing. I think the mice in Cinderella would be considered like funny animals rather than furries. So, or rather anthropomorphized animals. But I mean, maybe you could make the case, honestly, because like they have very human-like qualities to them. They wear clothes. Maybe that one's like on the borderline. I don't know. Bit of a stretch. I don't know. Like I said, I have to go back and watch Cinderella again to see like what kind of human-like qualities they have. But yeah, I always considered stuff like those mice and like Fievel from American Tail, that sort of thing, like the cats and everything in those movies. I always considered those to be funny animals, whereas like if they have human-like qualities to them, you know what I mean? Like if they have like human shapes to them, if their bodies are human shape, then they're more like furry type of animals rather than funny type of animals. So, how many iron arrows do I have left on you there, Lunith? 22. Okay, it might be worth it to grab some more soon, but you know, I'll wait to grab some more because we're not going to need those just yet. We will, however, need some wooden arrows and a regular bow from while we're here, because in a moment we'll actually have a reason to use that. So, you know what? Actually, why don't we have Eric do it? Because everybody else can guard and have that at increased priority. So then he can poke this goblin to death. He's hitting 4 times at this point, though. That's more than most other people are. Lunat's hitting 5 times, but that's because every 1 hit with a bow counts as 2 hits, basically. So, you know for a fact that the Great Mouse Detective loves dancing on the cartoon animal furry line. Oh boy, somebody's on the borderline there. I don't think the Great Mouse Detective doesn't sound familiar to me, though. I might have to like see what you mean by looking at that one. Anyway, let's go see where the children might be by talking to Elder Topapa. We might have some idea. Oh, they went to Altar Cave. Yeah, you know, that sounds about right, actually. Alright, so we gotta go to Altar Cave to find these kids. So that's what we'll go do. This is the HP one, right? Yeah, okay, cool. But before we go there, let's go. Oh, mouse dancers at a bar? Okay, then yeah, I could definitely see that being on the borderline a little bit then. Yeah, before we go there, let's just grab the regular bow from right here. We had one, but, well, we'll get another one. And then I'm going to grab 99 wooden arrows. First of all, because they're cheap as all get out. And second of all, because they're the, well, lowest power arrow, so you'll have a maximum of 16 attack power. That is important for later, for reasons that we'll talk about, well, later. You know, this sells for 1,000. It might be worth selling that instead of keeping it, because I won't need it. I'll think about that later. I don't think I'll need the freezing blade anymore. No, I won't need it anymore, so let's just get rid of it. We don't need another killer bow. Keep these arrows, though, because they'll be useful for stuff later. I won't need 2 of each of these books, but, well, maybe I will. I don't know. Won't need the impact claws, though, so we can get rid of those right away. I won't need the heroic shield ever, I don't think, because if I remember correctly, this can only be equipped by the knight class, so I'll probably just get rid of it right now. I won't need 2 scholar robes, so let's just get rid of one of those. Get rid of that. I'll keep that for now. I think we can actually equip knight armor on a different class, though, so let's just keep that for now. Everybody knows what Robin Hood did. I'm trying to think, because Robin Hood in... it was another Disney movie that had, like, some anthropomorphized animals in it, but I'm trying to think if that would be, like, full-on furry, or if that would be, like... No, it probably is, because they have very human-like qualities, because it's literally just... Because if I'm remembering the Robin Hood movie correctly, the animated one, it's, like, actual, literal, like, humans that just happen to have, basically, animal fur, and a couple of animal traits to them, so... Unless we're talking about bows now, in which case my mind is apparently still stuck on the borderline. Anyway, it was the furry Disney movie before Zootopia. Yeah, Zootopia was a really furry movie, yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, like I'm just thinking about Zootopia, and yeah, that's definitely like 100%. Like there's not even like ambiguity in that one. There's just like no, that's furry. Like that's full on. There's nothing you can do about that one. So. Well, I don't know that we'll get to Gasol today because of how I'm gonna. Well, maybe we will, depending on how long it takes us to do the stuff I'm gonna do in Alter Cave, but we'll see. Anyway, the children are going to be down here, so let's go take a look for them before we go doing anything else that might make a change, you know? Uh-oh. Looks like they're surrounded by bombs. Well, I know what to do with bombs now. Sounds like a plan. We have the stabs for it, after all. Get out of here, you big palookas! But yeah, so we got to deal with a 3-bomb pack now, so shouldn't be too big of a problem though, because we've, well, done this before in the subterranean lake, so. Matter of fact, I wonder if a Blizzara will just knock them all out if I just do this. And then just for safekeeping, let's just use the ice staff. You know what, actually let's do this, hang on, let's have Eric attack the one in the middle, just throw a Blizzara at all of them, and then have the ice staff on one of them, so I know at least one of them dies this turn. Guaranteed. Apparently the buff tiger dudes were in Awakening for some people. I don't know why that reminded me of Kung Fu Panda, but Kung Fu Panda is probably also like a furry movie. Because they're like... I mean, granted, they look more animal-like, I think, than a lot of the animals, like the anthropomorphized animals do, but they're probably like, yeah, definitely. Oh wow, that did 700 to both of them. Okay, well, that takes care of it. Tigress, just Tigress. Probably, it sounds like that awakening was similar to how some people had an awakening to Lola Bunny at some point, which, I mean, I watched Space Jam as a kid, but apparently that didn't awaken me in the same way that it awakened other people. So, I think I was too young when I watched Space Jam to have an awakening from that, now that I think about it, because the last time I watched Space Jam, I was like 7, so... Maybe you guys could be a little more grateful. We did go out of our way to save you. Let's get you all back to Ur now. Oh, okay, maybe there's the gratitude that I was talking about. There's a crystal fragment that they found. It's a fragment of the Wind Crystal, as it turns out, because now we can change jobs to Onion Knight. The Onion Knight was the freelancer job in the 2D versions, and it still is if you play Pixel Remaster, but in the 3D versions, it's the joke class. It has terrible stats. It can equip a decent chunk of armors and weapons, though, so I guess that part isn't much of a joke, but... And it can do some decent magic as well, but it doesn't really get much MP until much later. However, if you raise yourself above level 90, they start getting massive stat boosts to the point where eventually they'll have 99 in every stat. Isn't that fun? I'm not going to bother even getting anywhere remotely close to level 99, so I'm not really worried about that, but yeah, it's there now. So there's all the jobs that you have access to at this point in the game, is not just the Fire Crystal ones, but also the Onion Knight if you want to do it. So. Plus that wolf chick in the last movie, you think? I'm trying to think wolf chick in the last movie. Talking about Kung Fu Panda or not? Bad Guys, you think, was the DreamWorks equivalent to that? Never saw it, though. Stop paying attention. Who are these creepy kids? So those kids are the ones that were picking on Eric in the first episode when we first met Eric. So they were telling him to go to Kazus because they didn't believe ghosts existed. So, or he said that ghosts don't exist, and so they said, oh, go there and prove it. They're the ones we're rescuing, the kids around Ur. So, yeah, so that's who that is. All right, let's go back into Ur, first of all. And then let's make a couple of changes, shall we? So Fire Crystal jobs and Onion Knight as well. So we'll take a look at that in just a second, but let's take a look at the new jobs that are available to us. Ghosts exist? Since when? Alright, so new jobs that are available to us. So we had Monk, Black Mage, White Mage, Red Mage. Ranger is a new one, so this is the continuation of my bow fixation in this game. Rangers can equip bows and only bows. They can't even equip knives in this game, so they're the ammunition class of the game, but they can also equip all the elemental arrows that we've been stacking in our inventory, along with all of the higher level bows and arrows. As far as I'm aware, the killer bow is the highest level bow that the warrior can equip, but rangers will get an upgrade in the next dungeon for bows. It's just they're stuck with the killer bow for now. So yeah, that's the next one that Lunith's going to upgrade to, so we'll do that in a sec. Excuse me. There's also the knight class, which is... It's not really an upgrade to the warrior, because instead of being focused on offense with the advance command, they sacrifice that to focus more on defense. They can equip like the knight armor and the gauntlets and all that to have a high defense stat. And they have the defend command, which allows them to take very minimal damage from all physical attacks. They also have the cover passive ability. They don't have to activate cover, I don't think, which lets them cover allies that are at critical HP. So if the ally is kneeling on one knee, the knight will cover them for any physical attacks that are used. So you could use defend and cover kind of in combination when your allies are at low HP, and the knight will cover for them and take like 1 damage or 0 damage depending on what row they're in. They can also cast level 1 white magic, but their mind isn't really that high, so it's not really that useful. Maybe for Poisona or Sight, but it's there. They're mostly there for the defense capabilities, so... Yeah, Onion Knight is a gimmick for something in this particular game, so we'll talk about it in a sec. We've had Thief, but let's look at the other ones. I'll talk about Geomancer first, actually. So Geomancer has I think it's called the Terrain command in this game. It's called Gaia in Final Fantasy V. I get them confused sometimes, but I think it's called Terrain in this one. It's basically a magic attack that costs 0 MP to cast. It's random which one you get, and it's dependent on the area that you're in. So like if you're in a cave, you'll get more moves that are associated with like rock slides and earthquakes and that sort of stuff. If you're on the sea, you'll get more water elemental attacks. I don't think any of them have an element to them, though, so it's like non-elemental damage that you'll deal. It can be pretty useful, but the randomness can be kind of iffy sometimes, because sometimes they'll just get a move that inflicts a status ailment, and if you're a level 1 Geomancer, you're not inflicting whatever you're hitting with a status ailment instead, so they can be useful in certain situations, especially... Actually, the next boss Geomancers are pretty good against, because they have a decent chance of getting their strongest terrain attack in the next area that we'll go to after we go to Tokul again. So probably not a bad idea to switch to one if you're considering doing that, but I'm not going to use it personally, so... We'll talk about Scholar last, actually, because Onion Knight is another one I'm not going to use, so... yeah, Onion Knight's the joke class. They have really low stats at this point, even lower than the Freelancer, and they will continue to have so until you get to about level 90. Like, not job level 90, actual character level 90. They'll have about, I think, a maximum of 13 in every stat until you get to actual level, like, character level 90. And then they'll start rocketing up by, like, 5 or 7 or 8 points per level until they have 99 in every stat at, well, level 99. So they are, technically speaking, the strongest class in the game, but only at really high levels. And they get exclusive equipment in the end game, where it's like Onion Armor, which is really, really powerful, but also exceedingly rare, and I think also requires you to have a Thief that's level 99 in order to get it. Maybe I'm wrong about that, maybe it drops from an enemy, but it's still exceedingly rare to get. And I don't think particularly worth it, honestly. The class looks kind of cool, though. Everybody's got like color-coded tunics on under their armor, so... You do look like an onion, though. Like, the helmet looks 100% like a bulb with, like, an onion bulb. So, I guess there's that. And then there's the Scholar, which is actually, in my opinion, one of the most interesting classes in this game, and the most powerful in a vacuum, the most powerful... Actually, it's less in a vacuum and more in practice. In theory, other magic classes are stronger than the Scholar. In practice, because you get so many attack items, Scholars honestly come out on top for me. And the reason why is because of the fact that, here's how Scholars work. So they double the effectiveness of item use. So that means high potions, which would normally heal for 500 HP, when a Scholar uses it, it heals for 1,000. This even increases in the Pixel Remaster, because if I remember correctly, in the Pixel Remaster, as your job level increases, it goes up to 3 times effectiveness. So like your high potions will still heal for 1,500 instead of 500 now. So that's pretty good. But that's not the only thing that gains an increase in effectiveness. It also affects attacking items. So if you throw an Antarctic Wind, it will deal double damage from what it normally would. Add that to the fact that enemies can be weak to certain attack items, and if you have a high-level thief, and I don't actually not even high level, high enough job level thief, like level 31 job level or higher, and you can steal these items fairly commonly from enemies, you can see how this might turn into a bit of a runaway train, especially since once we get Eric's job level to 31, he can start stealing bomb arms which cast Firaga, which the Scholar can throw at enemies right now. So, yeah, we're going to put a Scholar into our party real quick, but it's not going to be Luneth. He's using the bow, and there's very specific things I want him to do with the bow, so we're going to turn him into a ranger. He'll adjust for 2 battles, and that'll be fine, so. Is there official art? Please tell me there's official Onion Knight art. There is official Onion Knight art, actually. Let me see if I can, maybe I can, like, get it up on screen on OBS. Hang on, let me see. Hold on. First I gotta go here. Oh, that's not an actual. New window. Yes. And this. Full size image. Okay. All right, let me see if I can get this on OBS. Hold on. Might be able to show it on screen. There you go. Sorry, it took a quick second. I'm not really as familiar with whatchamacallit. I'm not really as familiar with OBS as I probably should be, but there's your official Onion Knight art. So it's so goofy. Yeah, it is glorious. I really like all the designs that Akihiko Yoshida did for this game, but the Onion Knight, like, even the meme class gets a cool image, you know what I mean? Like, that's something. So, but anyway, Luneth has transformed into a ranger. I forget if we did that, like, did we see the actual transformation process? I think we did, and I just glossed over it, but he's got 2 battles to adjust, that's fine. And we'll see what he looks like in battle. And it also unequipped all of his items, so let's re-equip the stuff. We'll stick the bow in this hand, and we'll stick the wooden arrows in this hand. He can still equip, I think, just about everything. Yeah, everything that he had as a warrior, so that at least is good. And we could give him the killer bow and everything else that he had, but we're going to give him the bow and the wooden arrows for now, just because it'll be more useful for him going forward. Now, another job that I'd like to change, actually. This one might be a mistake. I don't know if it is a mistake or not just yet, but not having a white mage in your party, usually not a good idea, especially since, you know, they can heal the whole party, but scholars also have access to white and black magic up to level 3. Granted, they won't get the, you know, any access to level 2 spells or level 3 spells until later, but we're mostly casting just regular cures for right now, so I don't think that'll be a huge loss if we switch Ingus over to Scholar. I'm going to try to keep him there for as long as I can, but if it gets to the point where we're having difficulty, I can just switch him back to White Mage. But I hope that that doesn't happen. We'll see. But yeah, he's got 2 battles to adjust, just like Luna, so here we go. Looking good, Ingus. Ingus. I know, I'm still making fun of him, and now he's got the fresh fit, but him and Luneth both have the fresh fit. We've got a lot of green going on in this party now, but that's okay. The next two jobs that I want to switch to both come from the water crystal, so we'll have Eric and Refia changed to those jobs later. But, and honestly, I could have probably had Refia be the scholar, but, you know, because it's going to use attacking items, and she's already got the intelligence, but yeah, I think Ingus will do okay. I've got other plans for what I want Refia to do, so. But yeah, we can equip Books of Fire and Books of Ice, so. They apparently deal good damage, but Ingus hasn't really been doing a whole lot of attacking, so he's probably not going to do quite as much as he could. But the Scholar Hat and the Scholar Robe are both equipable to him, and actually it gives him just about as much defense as Lunith has, which is kind of nuts at this point. That being said, so the Scholar Hat and the Scholar Robe are the second most powerful items for those slots that Ingus can equip in the entire game. So we won't be getting much armor upgrade for him from this point on. He's looking good. You just say how cozy the menu background is. Excellent texture. Yeah, I really like it. It's not quite like just matte blue, like dark blue color. There's almost like a little bit of a finish to it, like a green. And that's kind of nice, so. Although, hang on, let me look at something real quick. While I'm messing with OBS, let's mess with it a little more, because I think this needs to move down slightly. Can There we go. I noticed it a little bit ago. I was like, huh, the top of the menu isn't really on the screen. I should probably fix that. Wonder if the researcher in ISAT is a reference to the scholar class. Yeah, blue passport leather, something like that. I'm trying to think about ISAT. ISAT. Yeah, tell me what that stands for, because I couldn't tell you one way or the other right now. So the only thing that I am not a big fan of with the Scholar is that its vitality stat is really, really low. Like, Refia has 15 as a black mage for reference. And, oh, in Stars and Time, a new game. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one then, So yeah, vitality stat is really, really low, which means Ingus will start to fall off in terms of HP by comparison to everybody else. Which is a shame, but yeah, so there's Lunith and his ranger fit. Everybody's looking good. All right, let's go to the, whatchamacallit, over here. Let's go to the, let's go to the healing spring. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know why my brain couldn't find that in my head, but, you know. You remember the melee attack uses a book? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, they whack people upside the heads with their books in this game, too. Like a big dictionary. They're not, I mean, we're not holding big dictionaries here, but it's literally like, you can hear them just like, I don't have a book with me, but it sounds like they're hitting something with an actual book. So, yeah, exactly that. Okay, sounds good. Actually, I think, is that the last? Yeah, that's the last letter that Elder Topapa sends you in the entire game, so after this, it's mostly like Taka, Princess Sarah, and all of that stuff, so yeah, it's like a pum 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 pum. Like a... I don't have a book right here. I could literally make the sound right now, but, you know, it's... We're both thinking of the sound, so I guess it's fine, you know, so... Alright, so we have a couple of mallets. Now, mallets not only cure the mini status, they also inflict the mini status. And here's the thing. I actually want to voluntarily make Lunith mini. For a very particular reason, as you'll see in just a moment. So, actually, I should say it before I do this. So, here's how this is going to work. We have job adjustment to take care of, but also our damage is going to fall off just a little bit with Lunith and Ingus for now. Well, actually not so much for Ingus because, well, first of all, he wasn't dealing much damage to begin with, although he had access to the stabs, so that was doing good damage. But Ingus, the Scholar in this game, not in Pixel Remaster. In Pixel Remaster, my understanding is that your job level actually affects the damage of items that you use, like attack items that you use, but in this game, items have a fixed amount of damage that they will deal. They have a fixed amount of power. I shouldn't say damage that they deal, because their damage is still variable, but... Excuse me. They have a fixed amount of power that's not... It's irrespective of your job level. And that's important because every other magic class in the game requires it has your job level in the damage formula, so they deal their maximum amount of damage at higher job levels. Scholar can deal its maximum amount of damage at job level 1. So yeah, Angus's damage is not going to fall off. But Luneth's will just a little bit. However, we can fix that with just a little bit of, well, grinding. But the trick about grinding, though, is that Luneth will probably KO the enemies pretty good, even though he's got a little bit less damage, even with job adjustment and all that. He's still pretty powerful. How do we make it so that he deals less damage and can still try to damage the enemies? Well, we can mini him, and that will actually have that effect. So we can use a mallet on him, and that will make him mini. And now with job adjustment and that, he's got very minimal amounts of damage. He'll inflict like 1 damage to every enemy in the game for now because he's got the bow, regular bow and wooden arrows. So that's good. But it gets even better than that because there's a hidden stat that I have not talked about just yet. I've hinted at it, but I have not talked about it just yet in this game. The hidden stat is kind of similar to weapon proficiency in Final Fantasy II. I have colloquially called it arm strength, but I don't think that's quite exactly what it is. So, you equip weapons in your left and right hand in this game, right? Every 32 attacks that you make with the weapons in your hand, you'll gain a level of arm strength. And that arm strength affects the number of hits that you deal to the enemies. So, even though job level plays into how many hits you deal to the enemies, arm strength also plays into it, and if your arm strength is high enough, it can literally just offset the, like, decreasing your job level in favor of, like, you can switch jobs and still deal a really large number of hits. The trouble is, it takes 32 hits for you to gain 1 level of arm strength. Enter Ranger and the Barrage command. Barrage deals 4 hits, and that does all 4 of those hits count as 1 each, so a total of 4 hits towards your arm strength. So, if you use Barrage 8 times in 1 battle, you gain 1 level of arm strength. And you'll also most likely gain a level of a job level while you're at it, so that's kind of nice too. So you're just continuing to increase more and more and more as you go. So, but yeah, the gist of how we're going to grind from now on is we're going to have Luneth minied so that he deals minimal damage. You have everybody else do something, steal, study, whatever have you, against really low level enemies like goblins who can inflict 0 damage to you. And you just use Barrage 8 times. This is why I want to find the select button so I can figure out what auto battle is, though, because it would come in handy here, because then I wouldn't have to, like, you know, do this. Let me see. No, that's not it. That's not it either. But yeah, if I can figure out how to get the auto battle to work, I will try to do that off screen so that way I can do this. But the idea here is basically, for every battle, I want Luneth to gain 1 level of arm strength. And if we can do that for a little while, it won't matter whether he's gotten arm strength before this or after. Probably he's only gotten a couple of levels of arm strength so far in the game, because we have attacked quite a bit, but not so much so that it actually makes a huge difference, you know? So. But yeah, the gist of this is we want Luneth to be doing that, like, 8 times per battle. I think we've done it 3 times. I can always check because I can look at how many arrows he's used. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so he's used 12. Now, it does burn through your ammo pretty quickly, but that's why we bought 99 of each of the wooden arrows, because then we can just go back to and buy more. So if you see me have a little less money in a little while, it's because I bought a whole bunch of wooden arrows. It's your hobby in RPGs to max unarmed damage to become Saitama. You can basically do that by doing this. Effectively, because of the fact that Barrage hits 4 times, Ranger becomes a staple for any job that wants to do melee damage, because you can raise arm strength so much faster by doing it, by using Ranger. So, yeah. That's why we're doing this. Beefcakes, definitely. He's going to have... one arm is going to be very jacked. The other arm is going to be where he holds the arrows, so it might not be quite as jacked. Also, bowmen were stupid strong. People seriously underestimate the strength needed to wield a bow. Yeah, definitely. Oh my god. And that will actually come through in this game. That's the thing, is that, like, by the time Luneth is done doing his little training arc here, he may not do massive amounts of damage just yet, but soon Oh, you don't even know the half of it. Let me check, by the way, while I've got my phone right here. Also, most of the internet will tell you that this class is garbage, the Ranger class. Don't listen to them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Alright, so the barrage command. From job levels 1 to 20, each hit is dealing 0.3 times the normal damage. So you deal a total, if you hit one enemy all 4 times, you deal 1.2 times your normal damage. So it's still stronger than regular attack command on bosses, no matter what job level you're at. At job levels 21 to 70, you deal 0.4 times, so that's 1.6 times normal damage if you hit the same target all 4 times. And then from job levels 71 to 99, you deal 0.6 times the normal damage, so that's 2.4 times the normal damage if you hit all 4 hits on the same target. So, obviously at this point, the goal, as you can tell, is to get Luneth to job level 71. Not soon, necessarily, but get him at the very least above job level 21 as soon as possible. So before we start the next stream, my plan is to get him above job level 21, and that will also, by extension, get him to at least arm strength level 21. And the combination of both of those things will make him very, very powerful for the next dungeon that we go to, so... Yeah, nice. So basically they don't strategize around it, yeah. I don't necessarily know if, like, and actually I can do this here. So we've used 28 arrows, and if we do 8 times 4, that's 32. So we've done that 7 times. So, but yeah, so basically, no matter what you do, Barrage will... Okay, well, actually, Barrage gets even more interesting, right? Because Barrage, as far as I'm aware, if there's 2 enemies in battle, it'll always hit them at least, each one at least once. So you might get 3 hits on one enemy and then 1 hit on the other, but, like, you'll always hit at least all of the targets. So, like, if there's 3 enemies in battle, you'll hit one of them twice and the other ones once. So because of that, you can do some pretty good stuff, and with Barrage it's pretty powerful stuff. Let's see, actually let's study for one more turn. What I want to do kind of is I want to have everybody do 10 actions, because that's the absolute maximum that you'll need to guarantee a job level, but you know, we won't really need to worry about that too much because we've taken quite a few actions as it is. But what this will do is, first of all, it'll get Luneth to the point where he'll have his arm strength higher, his job level will be higher, so Barrage inflicts more damage. Eric will also get job levels from this, so his steal command will let him steal the more uncommon items like Zeus's Rats, Antarctic Winds, bomb fragments, that sort of stuff, and bomb arms from bombs if I go get those. I like how Luneth is just teeny tiny on this. Like everybody else is like, Luneth, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. What's the problem?
And then Ingus will gain some job levels as well, which he doesn't need, but, I mean, they might help with if he has to cast Cure, you know, so. But yeah, if you take 10 actions, you're guaranteed no matter what job level you're at, unless you're on Onion Knight, to gain a job level in battle. So the gist of it is basically do that 9 times. In this case, I'm going to do that 18 times. No, actually, 11 times, so 22 times. I'm going to do that 22 times. I've done 1 already, so 21 more to go. I'll try to do it one more time right here because we've got a little time before the stream ends, I guess. But that's the gist. I'm going to do that enough times to get Luneth up past job level 21, and then everybody else will be up in the job level 40s. I guess it's considered grinding, but it will make the next little stretch of the game quite a bit easier. And by the time we get Luneth's arm strength up a little bit higher, things will start to spiral out of control very quickly, as you'll see soon enough. Kind of cool to see things like stealing rare items show up in games like the Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, like Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga after this. Yeah, it's kind of nice because usually you don't see a lot of rare steals in this game, and then, you know, obviously you see it later on. Oh, I can buy more. You know what? I'm going to buy 99 of these. And then I don't think I can unequip them now, actually, now that I did that. So, but I can equip the 99 wooden arrows that I have here, and then I can buy more with the 67 that I have, so I don't have to go shopping quite as often. So let's do that. Yeah, there we go. So now with 99, so we've got 198. We use 4 each time. So we can't quite do 200 divided by 4 is, what, 50? 50 times? So we wouldn't need 50 times anyway, so... Probably not directly related, but the same function. Yeah, honestly, it's similar. And the big one that you know is from the tree boss. I forget if we stole from the tree boss in mine, but yeah, it's very similar to that, kind of. It's like, just, actually use the steals for something. So I figured, you know, Scholar is kind of a class that not a lot of people use. A lot of people don't see the steals as very productive in this game, and a lot of people crap on Ranger, so let's just kind of cram all those into one party and see what happens. It might be a little bit of a challenge, but I am up for the challenge, you know what I mean, so... Don't get the mother players started on rare items. Oh god, I know. Trust me, I tell you, I know. It's also rare steals in Final Fantasy XII, and those are... God, even rarer than this game. I had to steal several of them when I played 12 not too long ago, but... Yeah, so basically what I'm going to do between now and the next stream is I'm going to go ahead and get this grinding out of the way. We shouldn't need to grind again once we get this done, before we get the water crystal, because I think we should be good enough with our job levels in the 20-somethings to get all the way to the water crystal from where we're at now. So, yeah, I'll grind Lunith up just a little bit. And then that'll also get Ingus up, that'll get Eric up, and then Raphael will get a little bit of a bonus out of this as well, because she'll have a high job level with her Black Mage, so she'll deal even more damage with her Black Magic spells. And then we'll return here to head on out. We'll probably go to the village of Gasal before we go see what's going on in Tokul, and then we'll go see what's going on in Tokul itself on the next episode of Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition, which will be happening this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's going to feel like forever before we come back to this, but I've only got this week and next week, and then I'm done with this job, so hopefully it won't be quite as forever as it feels like. So Final Fantasy XII again, that's worrying. Yeah, I'm going to summon it into existence if I keep this up, you know? Oh boy. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you checking out the stream, and I'll see all of you on the next one, which, as I said, will be on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Until then, everybody, take care, and have a good one. Now, imagine if Lunith's ranger hat fit and his green outfit was on Ingus with the blonde hair. That's what I meant when I said he might look just a little bit like Link. Granted, he doesn't have Lunith's ponytail, but I don't know which one of them would count as being closer to Link, honestly. Yeah, take your pick. Yeah, give him a little... Hey!